Welcome back to the GeoGuessr World League week number 3 already. And I'm Ziggy, and I am joined by the best looking man in Western Germany. It is none other than Gelotris. How are we doing?
Of course. We are doing great. I'm looking so much forward for today. We have some very exciting matches. Week 3 already, as you said. And we are really blessed with some very good matches today.
Yeah, I am quite excited for the games, especially the first one. But we also might have a little bit of a surprise at the end of our show. So definitely be sure to be there when that happens. And yeah, but before we get into our matchups, Gelotris, would you like to explain how this game even works?
Of course, it's very simple. You get dropped somewhere on Earth. You get spawned anywhere, look around, then you make a guess. Okay, I'm explaining the dual format, not a single mode game here. You look around, make a guess, and then based on how close you are to the actual location, you deal damage to your opponent until they are out of health.
Yeah, and we also have 3 different game modes that we are going to play, which are always going to be in the same order. We are almost always going to start off with a moving game, in which the players can move around freely, the only restriction being the 1 minute time limit. Then they're going to play a no-move game where they can look around, look at the surroundings, but can't move. And if the match hasn't decided yet, then there's going to be an NMPZ match, which is just a still image. So yeah, almost going to be the hardest mode. And yeah, the scoring is, Gelotris, take it away.
Yeah, you pretty much get 1 point for each win. However, as you can see on the second image, if you win 2-0, you receive 3 points. So there's a chance of getting 1 extra point by flawlessing.
Exactly. And today, as I mentioned, I said I was very excited for the first game, and you might see why, because it's going to be Zigzag facing off against Kirania, Aussie on Aussie action. But let me tell you, there's a lot of games, as you can see, that are going to be played. We're going to show a total of 8 games, but we're also going to keep you updated on the rest of them. Gelotris, is there any matchup that you're really excited about today?
I mean, I would say there's a second one after, obviously, Zigzag versus Kirania. We also have a German face-off, Lennli versus Yanik. So Australia versus Australia and Germany versus Germany on the same day.
Yeah, we're going to see, because I don't know if people train together, if they're from the same country or not, but it would definitely be interesting to see how they pair against each other. So definitely looking forward to that as well. But obviously a lot of strong players playing outside of those two. We have Benep, we have V89, and I can't even mention all the players because it's just too many at this point. But yeah, let's see how the standings are doing. We have Blinky at the very top, followed by Radu and Mu. Francis Finbar, who actually won all of his games so far flawlessly, so definitely keep an eye on him. Anything you want to add about the standings, or is it too early to say?
I mean, especially looking at the first place, I would say that was predictable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Blinky on top, obviously. But besides that, I don't see anyone being out of place. And as you already said, it's a bit early. Some people didn't have too many matches yet. So,
yeah, we have to mention that we're going to see players for the first time on this on the stream playing. Somebody like Armani and Swan Gambit actually hasn't played in the first 2 weeks. So for them, it's kind of a debut. So they definitely want to get their first win or get their first game. And yeah, a good performance.
Definitely. Very excited to see Armani and Swan Gambit also facing it off in this league. Especially, I really like to see Armani play. I like Armani's playstyle, also very quick, very skillful player. And yeah, I got to meet Swan Gambit on the last World Cup. Very nice guy. Also impressed me a lot. I didn't expect anything because I didn't know him too well, but also very great player. So yeah, more professional gameplay up to come.
Yeah, you never know what people bring to the table unless you see them playing on a stage or in a World League like this. So I'm also very excited to see Armani, because I think he definitely has a very similar playstyle to, I would say, Zigzag, who we see playing very soon. Yeah, maybe insta-sending on moving, but definitely a very, hard competitor in the NMPZ mode. Definitely don't want to go up against him in that one. but he also has to get there first, as you mentioned in the scoring. If you lose the first 2 games, you don't even get to play NMPZ. So yeah, you definitely can't be too bad on those modes, because in the end, yeah, you have to be good at every mode to be good at GeoGuessr. That's kind of the beauty.
Definitely, yeah. I would agree. Armani and Zigzag are definitely very similar in their playstyle. However, I think Zigzag practice a bit more for moving, whereas Armani really stands for his no-move and NMPZ playstyle and focus more on that. So you could see a difference there maybe in the match, but yeah, hard to tell now.
Yeah, it's obviously very hard to tell, but I have an interesting thought here. Is it because Armani and Zigzag are in the same like friend group that they're kind of like copied their playstyles because they hang out with each other? They have a very similar view on what game modes are fun, what game modes are not fun. Do you think that plays a role, how you develop as a player?
It could, you know, when I think about it, the people that I play the most with also have a similar playstyle like me. So either you look out for these friends that have the same playstyle, or you get the same playstyle by being friends. I don't know how it is. What do you think, Ziggy?
I also would agree, but I feel like GeoGuessr is actually interesting in the way that making friends makes you better at the game, because you can always learn from other players, because I think people underestimate how much time some people take into learning specific things. And if you go around, make friends here and there, then you can learn a lot. And I think that's what you have done in the past as well, right?
Yeah, like information exchange is so important to improve in this game. Having someone to ask, playing together, sharing knowledge. I mean, we both did it as well. I played a little bit of New Zealand with you and learned New Zealand from you. You learned some stuff about Turkey from me, and that's really how it is in GeoGuessr, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest parts, at least for me, because I think just playing the game would have been not enough. But the community aspect, watching people on Twitch, I don't even want to know how much time I've spent in Twitch chat watching GeoGuessr myself. So I definitely know what you guys at home feel like. It's kind of nice, especially if you have a streamer that is very interactive. I feel like that's always a very good thing, and it what really kept the spirit up for me, just talking to people about GeoGuessr, because I don't know, in person I don't really know anyone that plays GeoGuessr, so it's always good to have people that have a very similar interest.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in the early days, you had those streamers always going for counter streaks. There wasn't anything else. But at the same time, I think that's where we really improved and learned a lot from people discussing those rounds. Especially when I started out and didn't know anything about the game. Just watching these players discuss it in the chat and guess based on what they discussed in chat really gave you a good feeling of what you really need to learn in this game.
Yeah, and as I said, there's a lot of nice game modes that you can play with other people. There's 2v2 duels that have been added now. That has been a long way coming, because it was possible before, but you had to join a Discord server to do that. So I'm very happy that you guys has finally taken the step to see, okay, we know what our players want competitively. They want to play with friends, because I feel like 2v2 has kind of revived playing competitive for me, at least. Mm-hmm. And it also takes a bit of the pressure away, you know? These people only have themselves in these matchups, so they can only like talk to themselves in their head and be like, okay. But hearing, other thoughts in a game, you're like, okay, does this make sense? You can always ask your partner, which is always very reassuring, because, yeah, just throwing things out there.
Definitely. Do you have a favorite 2v2 partner you've played with the most, or who do you have the highest win rate with, Ziggy? Share us.
Okay, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I have to pick as my favorite mate just to play with and win is Consus. And for me, it's just because he doesn't talk a lot. He's like very focused. But I can always ask him, Consus, what do you think about this guess? And he's never like, yeah, what are you even saying? That is a bad guess. He's always like, yeah, could be. But also sometimes he just like, I don't think so. And, you kind of think independently in your own, but you also just exchange your ideas, and in the end it usually works out. But also it has to be mentioned, Pontus is just way better than me, so it's obviously good to have him at my side to have a bit more knowledge there. But yeah, I will put MK in there as well. Maybe I played a lot with him, but he likes to just insta-stand and doesn't talk about the round.
No communication, so it's not really a 2v2 at the end of the day. Is he like only giving you a second guess then?
Yeah, even a no move where you can, look around, take your time. He's just like, okay, I'm just gonna intercept. I'm like, wait, are you even right? I'm okay. Then you kind of don't think anymore. You're just thinking, is that correct what he said?
Yeah,
and yeah, is there anyone for you that you like to play with 2v2?
I would also probably mention two names. I mean, the one I have the highest win rate with is, I think, bad at GeoGuessr. However, yeah, I don't know. Fun-wise, it's a bit complicated with Bag because half the game he's like in the kitchen, he's there, and he's not really. He's always playing 2 or 3 games at the same time.
That's a classic Bag at GeoGuessr, yeah.
That's a classic for him. But besides that, Meckham. I've played a lot with Meckham, and the games with Meckham were very good because, especially with Meckham, I think we fulfill each other very good because he's very good at moving. And yeah, I have him for the moving part, and for everything else, I can help out. So yeah, very good chemistry.
Question is, do you guys queue every mode when you're playing, or is it always depending on your mood? You're like, okay, I don't really want to spend like 2 minutes per round moving and talking too much. You just want to have an image and send, or is it just, you just queue every mode?
Yeah, usually I queue for every mode. Yeah, I just let it come how it is. I enjoy playing every mode on 2v2s at least. I'm not a fan of playing moving alone, but moving in 2v2s is fun, especially because you can move in both directions.
Yeah.
Especially in a 1v1 duel, on moving, you sometimes have the feeling, am I in the right direction? Maybe there's more info to the other side. But yeah, with a 2v2, you can go both ways, and that makes it a bit more fun for me.
Yeah, I share that train of thought exactly. 1v1 moving is very stressful. You're like, okay, am I going the right direction? Should I turn around now, or should I go maybe a kilometer more? It's always like in your head, and then you just overthink stuff. You don't really look around. And sometimes I get myself, I moved for 2 minutes, didn't look at anything, and then sent the wrong country. A bit of a moving player, how you say it, illness.
yeah, definitely. I know that. We have seen it in tournament as well. Sometimes you just lock in a country in your head and think of a region guess before you think in which country you are. That definitely happened before, and especially moving, when you fast move and don't look at every single clue, that makes it different. But yeah, with a second mate, you have more information, you can exchange more, and that makes it, more fun.
Yeah, so we have some slight tech issues in the Kirania versus Zigzag game, so we might have a chance to look at Shiina against Eamonn instead. So let's jump right in, but we're in the middle of a game already.
Yeah, and we are on round 9 already as well. In the moving game, Shiina versus Eamonn.
As we can see, Eamonn, obviously from New Zealand, not the fastest internet from there all the way to the GeoGuessr servers, so he might opt into sending very quickly. But so far, it might have, worked out. We see he does the same thing again, just, sending it.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot happening here on this round. They are in similar areas. Only 1 kilometer difference, and that's 15 points. However, I must say, Japan, how is it for the Japanese people?
I'm not
connection.
Sure.
That's also
probably
pretty
like
far.
Decent.
So, yeah.
But Shiina needs 1.5k points, and we're in the final round, so he really has to find something here. I think we're gonna be in Ukraine, which is big enough to win it, especially because it doesn't look straightforward where we are.
No, also getting information on where you are can be very tricky in Ukraine sometimes, depending on the location.
And Eamonn just insta-sent, basically wants to gamble. If Shiina really needs to go west or east here, he can't send middle because I think he will know that Eamonn sent middle. He definitely needs to go somewhere.
He's
not in the middle though.
Somewhere. Oh yeah.
Was in the west, and that was definitely winnable there because we definitely had some, a bit of hills. Could have gone wester, but Eamonn taking the moving game.
Yeah, especially in a final round, you really try to go somewhere in the corner of the country, ideally, to turn it around. Didn't happen here. Maybe Shiina was really thinking it is in the middle. We don't know. But yeah, that's the win for Eamonn, our first win of the game.
Yeah, you're also in your head like, do I go east or west? And if you think about it in your head that it's maybe just in the middle, yeah, it is what it is. But here we are, finally. Zigzag versus Kirania. Australia against Australia. We have some nice little stats for you guys. Zigzag with a 67% win rate, 6 out of 9 games. 56% precision, which means 56% of his guesses were closer than 4.5k, which is very insane. And average guess time of 24 seconds. So as we can see, Zigzag likes to guess fast, but there's nothing new.
Yeah, but Kirania very similar with the guessing time. However, the win rate is at 40%. Played 10 games so far, 4 wins, and has 36 guesses, being 4.5k or higher, which is 55%. Also very, very impressive. I would say, yeah, very similar skill-wise.
Yeah, as we can see here, 55, 56, very close, 24, 27, very close, but win rate it differs a lot here, 67% versus 40, but obviously we're in the very beginning, so the stats are gonna, fluctuate a bit more than usual. But I think we're in for a very, close game.
Yeah, definitely. Like the win rate is, as you said, doesn't tell us much, but the amount of guesses that were above 4.5k is a bit more relevant for the current standings. And that was very similar for both. And we start off the moving game in Poland. We have those green signs, which are specific to Poland, the town entry signs.
We already have an insta-send, as we know we'll probably see a lot, because these players maybe don't want to move. Maybe Kirania decides, okay, maybe I'm in a bit of advantage against Zigzag and moving, so he might try moving. We will see. What do you think?
That was definitely risky there, sending quick, because if Kirania would have got to info that is telling him it was south, it could have been a couple of points already in round 1.
And Zigzag not even moving around, but there was a sign, so he might have read something.
I think it's saying the state, probably. I can't really
it looks like Endo State, but
Endo, yeah.
I think so. He's in the right region.
Yeah, both similar. He was trying to adjust his guess a little bit, but not much happening there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to move if there's info at the spawn. Both of them realizing, okay. Which is also an interesting thing. Moving players tend to move instantly, not look around at spawn, while no-move players look around at spawn and then move. And you might miss something like that if you just instantly run off into the hills.
Yeah, that's definitely a decision-making you have to go through as a moving player, or as any player who's playing moving. Do I want to go out of town as quick as possible, or do I really want to gain every information around as quick as possible?
Interestingly enough, they move on this.
In Jordan, yeah.
Yeah, because this just looks like Amman, and so I thought they're just going to insta-send.
Yeah, it looks
They're
like a
both
big
kinda
city,
taking it
but
down.
I'm not 100% certain whether it is Amman or not. So you also have some bigger cities covered further south. And Kirania is in Wadi Musa, so...
But Zigzag is on the 5k in the correct city.
Yeah.
So
We have 158 meters to 158 kilometers here. Very interesting.
factor 1000 closer by Zigzag.
Interesting, yeah. Zigzag getting the right town there, and we move on to the next round, and we are in Kenya. It looks very sandy, looks very coastal, so anything around Mombasa makes sense to me here. We have both of them around Mombasa on the map right now, scanning along. I don't know if they look for the church name we had there, if they try to line up the coast or the road. But we should definitely be somewhere in this area. It can look very similar in the north and in the south of Mombasa, so we have Zigzag hedging it, as we call it. If you are not sure, you just go in between. Guessing downtown Mombasa, Kirania slightly more north.
Won't be any points, basically.
It is south of it. Yeah, not much happening here. Another 60 points for Zigzag though.
Yeah, they were both looking maybe for a town name, but obviously if it's a very small place name, it's always good to go near a big city, because it might just be, you know, the name is covered by a bigger name. And we're gonna be in Guatemala with this Google car. Looks like we're next to a lake or volcano, so Yeah,
Yeah,
Zigzag's guess makes a lot of sense.
Like we have a big mountain there. I couldn't tell if there's a lake or not. But again, we have them in similar areas. And by default, yeah.
Just stick near the mountains. Always gonna be very close.
Yeah, just a few in Guatemala. Not many mountains, right?
Yeah, but now we get to a point where both have to really decide, do I insta-send? Because if one of them finds info moving, this could be more than just, you know, a few points you lose. Even countries like Latvia can be big enough to lose 1,000 points.
Yeah, we are already on 3.5x damage. It's round 6 already. It's going so quick.
But he just insta-sends, right? We have a town name technically, but town names are very hard to find sometimes in these Baltic countries. Especially if it's not one that is connected by a main road.
Yeah, Kirania was committing north there and he got more use of that info. And that's a little chunk of points. Not too many, but...
Yeah, basically evening it out though. So definitely could go a long way.
Definitely.
Round number 7. Looks like we're in France. If I saw that language correctly. France very good for finding mobile phone codes because they're ordered very special. And it's Rua, so yeah, he knows the language. Like not France.
Yeah, so to say it, especially those signs without the border are very common in Spain.
We have Galicia guess. So let's see who's right.
Closer. Oh, it was actually Galicia. Wow.
It is, and that's gonna be 3.5k points.
3.5k in Spain. Wow. They are both in the north of the country. So getting that right, however, it was pretty far west and Kirania got that vibe correct.
Yeah, in the north of Spain, there's a few different dialects. We have Basque, we have, how do you call it, Galician? I'm not quite sure, but those are very similar in how they write things. And we have an insta-send in Russia by Zigzag, which is very risky, but can also be very rewarding.
Can be game, technically.
And we have a Cheyabins, which is very risky. And that might be enough to turn it around for Zigzag. That is game.
That is actually game. That is actually game. Wow.
I think Kirania was in a very similar spot before he changed his guess to Chelyabinsk.
Yeah,
might have been like a very last-second decision. So Zigzag's pressure paying off so far. Almost lost the game in Spain, but turned it around in Russia. Obviously, he has learned Russia a lot, but so has every pro player just because it's such a big country and you have to know it. Am I right?
It is important. It is important. One of the most important countries to learn in the duels format, especially.
Speaking of important countries, though, this is either US or Canada, which are both huge, and I'm not quite sure where we are.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. The guardrail isn't any specific one, I don't think.
Looks northern, though. These trees are a bit shorter.
Yeah.
We have a few birches here and there, and we are on a lake. Makes me think of, like, Ontario.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm feeling like it should be the US, maybe. Or more likely with this guardrail. And double yellow lines. Things you see more common in Canada are different type of guardrails and usually single yellow lines, but it's still possible.
Hey, Kirania is in the US, but on the border. It could make sense, though, because we're maybe looking at a river instead of a lake, and we have two pretty similar guesses.
Yep.
It turns out to be Maine. Zigzag is on it. Very impressive guess.
Makes a lot of sense. It looked like Canada, but the clues we had were more likely for the US, so Maine is a very good guess there. But of course, Kirania also pretty close to Canada. And we move on to South Africa here. We are driving on the left with these table mountains, as we call them. Flat tops on the mountains are very common around Lesotho. And we have Zigzag close to it. However, Kirania is a bit more inland.
Yeah, I mean, Zigzag at this point is basically in Lesotho.
Yeah, he's making his way into it. Still looking, still scanning the terrain, I would assume.
But it's not going to change his guess.
And yeah, it is way more inland. Kirania, very close there. That's a good chunk of points. And
these mountains can be very deceiving because they're not only near Lesotho, as we call them Lesotho Mountains, but they're also very far inland. They can be as west as Springbok, so
yeah,
not easy.
But we are back.
I was about to say, are we back?
I think so.
That sign is on the left.
We had to zoom into South America from Kirania, but he adjusted it very quickly.
I like the Kuruman guess, but I'm not
I could
sure.
see Kuruman, but it could also be... Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
That's why it looked so weird.
Yeah, it looks
it's
very
on the border
flat
to Namibia.
sandy, so that makes sense for the Namibia border.
Namibia coverage might be dropping soon, so we might get it in the World League in the coming weeks. Who knows? I'm kind of excited to see how the country turns out, but they're kind of, you know, letting us wait. They're edging us.
Teasing us, and we are in Europe.
Europe.
It seems like.
I think Europe is okay,
Ooh,
maybe
we have
not.
a Mexico flank down.
Yeah, I didn't see the car enough to see whether it was a European car or
okay.
American.
Yeah, I thought it is, but especially this bridge didn't strike me as. They both don't check the car, which is interesting to me.
They probably have checked it before,
Or
so
they
we
saw
just
it
didn't
before.
see it.
Yeah.
But that's a very risky guess by Kirania, I can't lie. Not sure where this is though. I kind of like a bit more western.
You get more corn more inland, like in the center of the country, so...
Zigzag not only getting closer, but getting the right region in Durango.
Yeah.
That's going to be a nice amount of points.
He's getting a good lead here, definitely. Yeah.
As I said, this is very crucial because winning a game 2-0 is important in two ways. Not just winning it, but also getting the full 3 points. If he wins an NMPZ, he only gets 2. So closing it out early is very important. Just to get that extra point, and you definitely use it. Maybe jump up a few ranks, and he's going to be up there with the likes of Consus and...
Do we have an area code on the back of that sign?
We also have an interstate sign, 75 and 94, so he definitely needs to start scanning. And he found 94.
Yeah, we have a Minneapolis guess. I didn't see Kirania's guess, but Cleveland is more east.
And we have it is downtown Detroit, and we have a 5K by Kirania, and that is gonna be way more than enough to take out Zigzag and forcing him to go to NMPZ, which, you know, I was kinda looking forward to. So nice
Two
to
things
actually get to see it.
You don't want to see on high multis is either rural Russia or urban US. And
I agree.
We got both. On the first game, it was in favor for Zigzag. This time it was in favor for Kirania. Very interesting game. I like the game so far.
It was so close, and Zigzag just not seeing the sign to the interstate very early like Kirania. I think Kirania just had 10 seconds more to scan for it, and that was enough to, you know, pin it down. Because the interstate's pretty easy to find on the map, but also very spread out.
Definitely. And we are on NMPZ. They only get a still image. However, they are both NMPZ players, so should be an interesting match. And we start off in Japan. We could probably have some info here because we see a pole with some interesting tops or attachments, which I've never seen before. They could be region specific. I am not sure, but they are both in the same region, somewhere between Chugoku and Shikoku.
I think neither one is sure about it, and as you can see, none of them is correct. It is just middle.
Nope.
Imagine you just clicked Tokyo, you would have gone pretty good.
Yeah, that's
just how it is sometimes.
Japan goes, yeah. If you don't have a strong clue, or you don't know them.
And Japan, very, you know, this looks the same everywhere. And speaking of looks the same everywhere, we are in Europe, and it looks the same as everywhere.
Definitely, we have a pretty narrow road and long lines, which make me think France. Also with the stitch on the side. However, I am not sure at all.
My first guess was maybe in Hungary here. I'm not sure whether I like my guess though, because this looks very... Maybe I see something like Denmark actually with the shoulder.
Yeah, I just realized that dashes between the... like the gaps between the dashes lines are pretty far from each other, which maybe speaks against France because you don't have those long gaps there usually. They're both in a similar region though.
If Kirania hedging Poland and Denmark, which is funny.
East Germany. Let's see how it turns out. It was actually Denmark. Wow.
Is Denmark with the shoulders real meta? If you have a bit of dirt next to the shoulder, which is broken a bit, it's gonna be Denmark.
Yeah, very good guess by Zigzag. Also within the country, he's in the right region there.
Yeah, the northern part of Denmark is a bit more hilly than the rest. Speaking about hilly, it looks like hilly Philippines with a concrete road. Looks like we're driving right because we don't see the front of the car.
Definitely. We also have
How do you guess this?
More common. That's a good question. I'm clicking middle here. Definitely.
Me too.
Because
doesn't seem north to me.
I don't see any strong clues for any side of the country. Again.
I like Kirania's guess more right now.
Yeah.
But it is
was
north.
Actually pretty far north, yeah.
Zigzag just ratioing us left and right, and he's almost winning the game on 2x. 3 rounds in, already took Kirania 3.5k health down.
Yeah.
But in NMPZ, does it really matter? Not really. Anything can happen.
Definitely, and we should
in a big country again.
Yeah. Somewhere in Patagonia.
Tierra del Fuego is very risky.
Ooh,
I don't see it being there.
Yes, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think the grass is just not right.
Far, especially with that mountain in the distance to the north.
Yeah, usually you have mountains south or maybe a bit in the west in Tierra del Fuego, which is the small island down there, if you're wondering.
Most of the roads are overcast there, that as well. Everything combined makes me not think to Tierra del Fuego.
And really like Zigzag's guess. He's switching up.
I could see this even be further north in the country, like in Santa Cruz, inland, north of it.
I would maybe click the border between Santa Cruz, but we'll see in 2 seconds.
That far south. Ooh, and it was on the border to Chile there.
Zigzag on the right road,
happening?
But obviously this is probably the longest road in all of Argentina. It goes on for like 4,000 kilometers, so getting the right road is one thing, but getting the right stretch is another.
Yeah, nothing happened there, even though he was on the right side of the country and on the right road. But yeah.
Into round 5 here, we don't have a lot to work with. Do you even want to shout out a continent here?
Nothing at all. My first immediate thought is...
Yeah, I'm not sure what... Nobody has opened the map yet, so...
It's not Australia, right?
I thought about Australia just because of the road quality.
Yeah, also the grass, the spiky grass as well.
But if it's Australia, don't you think one of them had already zoomed into Australia?
Everything else doesn't strike me as Australia either, though.
Is it maybe US or is it Europe? I'm not sure. I like Italy or maybe Bulgaria with the pavement.
I can see that with the vegetation, but
we have a Middle Europe click.
Is possible.
Not the worst.
They are both in Europe, at least.
And yeah, nobody's really sure. We have a Middle Europe click and a Mediterranean Sea guess, so...
It's actually just outside Rome. Wow.
Yeah, we saw the Pantheon right there.
Hey, we saw a lot of plunks down there, but I'm surprised that wasn't game.
Yeah, I mean, Kirania moved out of Italy. Wasn't actually in the right country with his first guess. No, but it wouldn't have been enough anyway because Zigzag moved further towards Southern Europe.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been game then, but he could have gotten back into the game. But for now, Zigzag's still in the lead.
And well, you have a very hard Brazil round, it looks like.
Yeah, it seems to be Brazil. It seems to be northeast. But it could be anything along the east coast. To me, I don't know.
They're both on east coast, basically. Kirania a bit further inland, and that might be enough to seal the deal here for Zigzag. And it is.
Oh, and it is, yeah.
Flawless NMPZ game. Not an easy feat to do in 6 rounds.
No,
basically
not at all.
Keeping it consistent. Figuring out the hard Europe round because none of the players was sure. But he ended up in the right country, actually, in the Po Valley. And it was near Rome. So, well played to both of them.
Yeah, it was definitely... I would say that was a type of NMPZ game where it counted to just get the country right. You didn't even have to make great region guesses, besides on the Brazil round maybe, but just getting the country basically would have done it here, yeah. And shout out to Zigzag, playing it out pretty good, getting the Denmark round. He was also committing to Denmark, not really hedging. So yeah, very deserved win.
Yeah, very deserved. We saw a lot of hedging by Kirania, I have to mention. Kind of hedged like Denmark and Poland. Wasn't sure there. Wasn't sure on the Europe round either, but who was really sure on that? I don't think anybody was really.
No.
But, you know, if he just, you know, maybe trusts himself a bit more, that could have been even longer. Yeah. And we have Lennli versus V89. Germany against Finland, or EU actually, Deutschland. Nice one.
They are in round 7. V89 with the slight lead here.
It's actually a moving game and no points really. And we might see a Germany round here. Both of them not moving.
Yeah.
Now they're moving. A few seconds. Doesn't look like the fastest movement on either screen.
Nope.
Has to be mentioned.
Looks like we have winter coverage here. This could be specific to some areas. We have Austria, I guess, from V89.
Yeah, we had no antenna, which is very common in Austria. And we also have the bollard, which confirms it. So Lennli will definitely get it as well. Both very similar.
Yeah, was just right outside Vienna in the mountains there.
These points could actually matter now because we're only 2 rounds away from the end of the game. And it will be decided who has more health left if we hit that round 10. But the multipliers are high as ever. We have 5x multiplier right now, and the next round is going to be 5.5x.
Yeah, and something could happen here. Definitely, we are in Spain.
We have Spain. Spain very helpful with the signs. They have abbreviations for the regions pretty much on every, you know, road sign.
Yeah, but you can also use the buildings here.
Ooh, it says Castilla y
Leon, so that's a bit better info
very
for
far
Lennli.
northwest in the state, though. But it could be
I mean, it looked pretty northern. Yeah, it was very green. We had those stone architecture buildings.
Yeah.
You see more in the north, and it was in the pocket, basically, of Castilla y Leon.
And we have a lead by 1.9, not 1.4k, but only 140 points. But it seems like it doesn't really matter because I think in a country like Mexico, a lead like this won't really matter. It just depends who gets closer here. Unless both of them click the Mexico City label. But we have, how do you call them again? Agave plantations?
Yeah.
Which you see a lot in like Jalisco.
West Coast, Jalisco, yeah. It's rolling
very flat though.
Hill. Yeah, I was thinking about the terrain. It looks a bit weird, but we have a Jalisco plonk down from Lennli. Didn't register his guess yet. He's still moving, but that's what he is considering.
I don't hate it, but I would go a bit more east.
Still moving, yeah.
More east in the flatter regions of Mexico. We have a very far north Durango. He might have seen. He sees the agave last second, and he switches his guess to Jalisco. So both of them in the same place, basically. And 89 slightly closer. Will that be enough? And it is.
That will switch the game. God. Wow.
As I said, it was very flat, so a bit more east in Jalisco could have been enough for either player, really.
They are both in the same city. They were both in Guadalajara was the city, I think. They both belonged.
See.
Both around, but yeah. Castrola or V89 got on the right side, and that was enough.
That was probably the closest finish to a moving game I've seen in this World League so far.
Definitely.
That was as close as it can really get.
And we move over to the no-move game, starting off in Ukraine. Not much happening so far. We had the red Google car, which is almost specific.
Yeah, and I think the pace is going to pick up a bit. I don't think Castrola or V89. Sorry, my bad. I still have to get used to the new name. I don't think he will spend much time on every round, so we're definitely going to see rounds like this where he just sends it.
Yeah. We are in Thailand. We see both guessing more east or northeast in the country. Makes sense to me with how sandy and red the soil is.
Yeah, sandy red soil, rubber trees, I think, and a bit hilly. That is really a good indicator for going the very northeast. But obviously red soil is pretty much everywhere in the east.
Definitely. It can trick you. It can also be in the southeastern pocket sometimes. But yeah, this time. It was by default.
We have a town name called Tisted. I think he knows where that is. Yep. And does Lennli know?
Tistedhafen. Did Lennli even see the info? I don't
He's
know
scanning though, so I definitely think he has.
Okay. Maybe
He's
he
scanning the
knows.
coast.
Tisted sounds familiar to him.
It is on his screen, but
Yeah.
doesn't get there in time.
Nope. That's good points. That's good points for 2.x in Denmark.
Yeah, not the worst for knowing a pretty big town in Denmark, which,
Yep.
you know, and as you can see, it goes a long way.
Yeah, you need those extra points sometimes, as we just saw on the last game.
And this is very straightforward. I think V89 might be on the right road. If you see mountains north and a very lush landscape like this, you should be in that national park area of Cambodia, near the Thailand border.
Also driving right.
Lennli goes east. East looks very similar, but I think V89 is right here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very committed guess. In
The east is also very green, so I kind of see where Lennli is coming from, but combined with the like ridge we saw to the north, I really liked V89's guess, and turns out it was there.
Yeah, there are pretty much 3 areas in Cambodia you, consider with mountains, which are northwest, northeast, or south.
We might
So
be in the
you have
worst
to commit.
type of round ever. We have an Australia
Yeah.
sign on the left, but we are under a bridge of a highway, so the landscape can be very deceiving because we might be crossing a river and vegetation is, you know, enlarged by it. So it could even be Adelaide.
Oh,
Not
I
sure
thought
what
we
we're
are
looking
more on
at.
the east coast, but how lush it is.
I'm not sure if we have a flat signpost at the back that could be an indicator, for, but we don't. So looks at it again. So maybe not
Yes.
Adelaide. I would just go somewhere east. New South Wales, maybe Queensland.
But we actually have an Adelaide guess from V89.
Not sure. I thought
This is
the
Sydney. Okay, they are very far from each other. This can
Be
be big
game
points
either way.
wise. Yeah.
and it is Adelaide.
It's in fact Adelaide. Wow. A very, very good game by V89 there.
Not only winning a no-move game, but taking the whole game, and most importantly, taking the whole 3 points that were on the table, and Lennli going home with 0, sadly, for Germany. But, you know, better player gets the points. That's just how it is.
Hey, not much you can do against that. V89 really played that off. Excellent, especially the no-move game. On the move game, he got a little bit closer. That decided the game. I would say it was very equal, but the consistency was more on V89's side in this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the moving game really was up for grabs that last round. I mean, Lennli clicked on the label of the city, V89 a bit east of that, and that was already enough to win the game. I think that game was really up for grabs, but in the no-move game, I think V89 really dominated. Just committed in every round, like the Cambodia round or the Australia round, because if it's not Adelaide, it's not anywhere close, because it's not going to be Victoria or something. So yeah, definitely really liked his very risky playstyle.
Yeah,
And
that was definitely
You want to go
risky.
over the results of the other games?
Yeah, what do we have? We had Shiina Eamonn. Eamonn taking the game there with 2-0. That's 3 points for Eamonn. Armani with his debut game, his first game against Fanab, 2-1.
In NMPZ, of course. And
Yeah, in
I think Armani
Armani's
definitely liked the
fashion.
NMPZ game.
I would probably also predict that Fanab probably won the moving game and Armani took the no-move NMPZ game. Probably. I don't know what happened. But yeah, what happened in the other games, Ziggy?
Yeah, we also had Anu against Kratsu taking it 2-0. I'm a bit surprised by that. Definitely in moving, I did see Kratsu favored. Yeah, turns out Anu took him down in 2 games.
Yeah, very interesting to me as well, especially with how strong Kratsu is on moving. However, I don't know. I have not seen Anu play moving too often yet, so might also be very good at it, taking 3 points as well. And yeah, we just saw Lennli versus V89. Was another very interesting matchup, I would say. Interesting matchup, interesting games.
Speaking of interesting matchup, have Eamonn against Amarain coming up next? Any prediction?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I think Amarain had a hard time in the last games, I would say. Got a bit unlucky as well on some rounds, so maybe he's striking back. But yeah, Eamonn is just on top of his game, just 1-2-0 versus Shiina, and if he keeps that momentum, it's not looking too good for Amarain.
I agree with that one. Let's see the changes. We actually have arrows now indicating which players went up, which players went down, so it's a bit easier to follow. I really like that, I can't lie. W production.
Yeah, shout out to them. And we have V89 jumping to the top 5 there. With the win we just saw. Zigzag also moving up in ranks.
Yeah, no big surprises in the top. Zigzag, V89, both really strong. We also have Eamonn and Fennep moving up, even though Fennep lost this game, but that one point is enough to go up in standings.
Yeah. And yeah, you see Armani moving up. However, it was his first game, so not really much to say there. And we are looking forward for the next game, I would say.
Yeah, Eamonn versus Amarain. We're gonna take a quick break, but don't get anywhere because the action is right around the corner. See you guys. And we are back for some more action. After this very short break, I barely got to the toilet and back. I cannot lie. But we are back for some more action. We have Eamonn, we have Amarain, and we have, of course, the moving game, which I think will decide a lot of things in this matchup. How do you think Eamonn will approach this game?
Yeah, I mean, Eamonn also someone who really isn't known to be a moving player at all. But especially in the World Cup last year, I was impressed with how well he did on the moving duels. So yeah, definitely not someone you should underestimate on moving. Of course, the connection issues can happen. He's playing from New Zealand, pretty far away from the servers, so that could be a disadvantage. However, I don't think that's Eamonn's playstyle to move around quick anyway. I think he's more someone who just moves step by step, really gathers all of the information he gets and makes use of them.
Yeah, speaking of Eamonn, had a bit of a rough start. 36%, not too bad, but also not too good. Can definitely improve that, but 53% precision, which is up there with Kirania and Zigzag, so definitely nothing to be ashamed of. You know, sometimes the numbers in the beginning can be a bit lower in the win rate department, but it should even out in the long run. 41 second guess time, which, you know, as we saw in Kirania and Zigzag, compared to those two, it's a bit longer, but I kind of see it. I kind of think Eamonn likes to look around and take his time.
Yeah, and as you already said, the win rate isn't really something we should look at so far into the leagues. It's week 3, they only played 3 times, but more as the precision, which is more important. Yeah, and we have a 53% here for Amarain as well, so not too bad at all. And a bit quicker on the guesses, and by a bit, I mean 10 seconds or more than 10 seconds is a lot. 30 seconds guessing time is somewhere in the sweet spot, I would say. Not too fast, not too slow.
Yeah, it obviously depends who he's playing against. If Amarain played against players who guess faster, he also has to guess faster. But as you can see, 53% on both sides. So as you can see, you have to be consistent to get here. Let's be honest. You have to be consistent in the qualifiers. But yeah, Eamonn in place 13, playing against Amarain, who's all the way in the back with 37. But I think a 2-0 game against Eamonn could go a long way, and he kind of needs it.
Yeah, he can definitely pull something off here. And we start off in, it seems to be Chile. Yeah.
Chile. And we have a town name, Vallenar.
Vallenar to the south, so we are somewhere between Copiapó and Vallenar. On
Yeah,
5 probably, with how the road is built up.
Yeah, let's not scan for Ritorno, guys. That is not a place name I've learned the hard way.
We have been there, we have been there. But yeah, we have them both on the 5. Amarain looking
finding
for
a
something
stretch.
that lines up.
That looks very good to me.
Locks it
So
down. Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah, we were a bit further south on the road. They're both getting it, of course. But first points going to Eamonn.
yeah, Chile, a country where you definitely need to learn those names on these long roads because, you know, the country is very stretched out. And is this what I think it is? Is this New Ecuador? I haven't really looked at Ecuador with this car, but
Should be. I don't know how far inland you get it now, because they start off in Quito with this car, and then it got a bit outside the city. But I think we should still be around. Yeah.
it is around. I think there's some coverage in Ambato, so he maybe was thinking about that.
Yeah, it looked
And
very rural. It didn't look like we are next to the capital, so can't blame the guest there.
Yeah, that's kind of how those windy roads are. I mean, nobody really lives on those roads, but obviously you live in a big city. And big cities, big countries. I think we might be in Brazil here, and we have a phone code. I couldn't really read it, but I think Eamonn knows.
Nope, neither could I, but we have round poles which you get more south in the country, especially in Sao Paulo, where Eamonn also
We have
guessed.
Prefeitura de Taubaté sign, so maybe he knows where that is. He is in Sao Paulo and looks for it.
Yeah, I can't find it on his map yet, but
It's there.
so closer.
If you combine both the infos both players have, you can definitely 5k that location. Eamonn had the phone code, Amarain had the town name. Combined, could find that more easily. But some nice damage for Eamonn to start off the game.
Definitely. And we are in, seems like Russia. We have pretty big mountains, foggy coverage, which you get more around the eastern side, around Ulan-Ude, I thought. But
Is the town
I'm not
name-
too sure.
There's a town name on Amarain's screen, but it could be a very small one and it looked very long and very hard to read. Eamonn has the same sign now. I think I like Ulan-Ude as a guess. Just because of the fogginess. I
Yeah,
could be
especially
wrong.
these type of mountains, I don't think you get them in a lot of places. Besides that, similar
found
coverage.
another town name, so maybe makes a better guess now. But Eamonn has the same signs available. Now goes a bit closer and zooms in instantly as well.
Yeah, he's guessing on the label, pretty much moves a bit further south.
Does Amarain have it? I think he does.
West.
I think Amarain is in the right town. It's not very far away from Eamonn, but
Yeah,
very nicely
very good
played.
usage of the info there. Yeah, definitely.
And this is kind of what I heard from players, that Amarain definitely very strong in the moving part, finding town names like that, because that wasn't the biggest town in all of Russia. It looked quite small.
That was definitely the type of round where you had to combine the looks and the info. So you pretty much have to make a region guess and then scan inside that region where you think it is. And we are in Australia with this car. We should be in a national park. Do
Where
they
exactly
know
is very hard
which
to know.
one it is, yeah.
Eamonn just slamming it down near Sydney, I kind of like that because that's where most trackers are. But It is a bit more north in New South Wales. Both players getting the right state in Australia, but Eamonn taking 1.7k damage.
Yeah, by default you should click somewhere where they guessed. So, both makes sense to me. I would have ended up there as well, probably. And we move on to a Poland round. We have those yellow yield signs. Which
also
are
Polish trees, obviously, the famous Polish trees.
We have the Polish trees, Polish bollards, Polish buildings, Polish A-frame pole.
Amarain has a town name. This looks like a very small town. You might have seen a phone number. He goes near Warsaw, both going there, so I think they both found the O2 phone code.
Mm-hmm.
We have a town called Plonk almost.
Yeah. And Amarain plonked in Plonsk, but it was just east of Warsaw.
Not a lot of points, but on these multipliers, it is actually a lot of points.
Yeah, and we move on to a Japan round here. They are both happy it's a moving game.
Yeah, you definitely want to go at least to pole and send.
Yeah.
Or even better if you find a road number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always these clues in Japan, like especially poles, I would say, which you get almost everywhere. And they
finding one.
Good info.
I mean, Eamonn. Always looking at the attachments.
Yeah, I don't think the attachments help too much here.
Amarain, look at the text.
We had a good pole top there. I couldn't make it out in time though. Which attachment that was. The stickers are very generic. I'm not sure which one these are. However,
a yellow one here.
This is Shikoku.
We have I think it should be Chukoku or something.
Yeah.
Either Shikoku or Chukoku.
Yeah, it was Shikoku.
Okay. Eamonn is on it. Another 1.4k. Amarain shaking his head.
Yeah. Not happy about that guess, especially with Eamonn building up this lead.
Because with the pole plates, you know, you technically have not enough information to get a good guess in, so it always feels bad to get it wrong in Japan with the pole plates. Because they're like, okay, I just forgot which one those are.
Yeah, and we are in Ghana with these mountains. I'm not sure if we are east of the country.
You didn't mention the Ghana tape, actually.
No, we didn't.
Shout out Ghana tape.
Ghana tape.
Big ups.
Every year we have an eastern guess. It makes sense with the terrain, but we are driving north, which is a bit weird. For
he goes in the lake.
East.
It is where he was first, and
is that still game?
Amarain says GG, and it is GG.
It is. Wow, Eamonn is happy to still get the win there. He would have not been happy if that wasn't enough by changing to the lake, but yeah, taking the winning game here.
And now it gets really hard for Amarain, I think. I'm afraid Eamonn is a bit more favored in the no-move game as well as the NMPZ, so he will have a hard time. I think in no-move everything is possible just because all the players are good enough to win against each other, and it's just a matter of who's more consistent.
Definitely. I would say the same, but especially on rounds like this.
Yeah, Gelotris, you're the expert here. I am the host. I can say, hey, I need my expert.
Yeah.
But
this time I think it could be north. I mean, we again have the concrete slapped road, which you see a lot in the Philippines. Also, the car looks like it's driving on the right.
We actually have the exposed back, so it definitely should be like the northwestern part of Luzon.
Yeah, especially what we call the dry season.
Yeah.
Is very commonly
Eamonn
found.
knows he's on the right spot where the car is found.
Yeah, definitely.
Amarain not far away. He's like, how did he get that? Actually, the car is very helpful in that one. It is very limited as where it could be in the north. Eamonn, obviously, knowing that one.
Yeah, knowing that. Gave him a couple points, not too many. It was only round 1. But jumping over to round 2 now.
Car meta this time.
Looking at the car, but I didn't see any info on it. This is an interesting round.
I didn't think US here at all. I didn't see that sign, but it's actually US.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
It's
Especially the building and... Some type of sign. Oh, it was Utah.
Wow. Eamonn not only getting the right country, he's getting Utah. It's very hard to get. I think I always click the four corners monument there just because I don't know in which corner we are. Kind of the best hedge in the US there is.
Yeah,
Just
especially
going on
with
that
how
quad point.
green it was, I think it makes more sense to go a little bit more north because it gets more dry and deserty towards the south. But yeah, you can definitely also have green mountains in the south.
Speaking of green, we have green blur here, and green blur
Yeah.
in Sweden is mostly found on the island of Gotland, and I hope Amarain knows that. Maybe he didn't notice the green tint, but I think this should be Gotland. It is not.
It's
He
not.
proved me wrong. He proved me wrong. Eamonn is like, yeah.
Can definitely happen inland. Sometimes, very rarely, but
Damn.
this
That's why I'm
time
not
it was
playing, guys.
in
I'm
favor
just
for
here to
Amarain.
talk. Make my guesses, and if they're wrong, it doesn't matter. We have India.
With this camera quality, this car.
Is that a
it seems
trident
like we
pole?
have holy pole. I think we have holes in the poles, so
Oh,
it should
really?
be Gujarat. Yeah.
So did Amarain send Gujarat? I'm not quite sure. I don't.
I mean,
see
I
his
only
map.
see Gujarat on his map, so. Oh, he didn't.
He's not. I didn't see it in the first glance either. But then you mentioned it, and I definitely saw something was wrong with the poles.
I don't know if he missed it. I saw it on Eamonn's screen, so I don't know if Amarain even zoomed on it.
He definitely will be annoyed by that because it's just one of the very known metas in India because it's very reliable. And speaking of
Yeah, this is
reliable, I don't have a reliable guess here.
Nope, not at all. It looks pretty cold. We have a lot of birch trees. I thought of Canada, but I'm not sure about a region guess. However, we have Eamonn committing Nova Scotia, which
I'm
is
not
pretty
sure if it's
far
Nova
east in
Scotia
the
or
country.
Quebec. Not sure.
Yeah,
And it is Quebec.
it was.
At those types of roads, it's very hard to see where you are.
Yeah.
It was a bit
I mean,
rocky.
Eamonn could afford to make a committed guess there with his health. But yeah, Amarain's striking back a little bit. And we are in Peru. Should be somewhere around the Lake Titicaca with this landscape. Is what I thought.
Should not be far away from it, like somewhere
somewhere
west of
south of
Juliaca.
it, or west, yeah.
Wouldn't go too close to Arequipa, but yeah, could be in between those two places. But there
Yeah,
was a
this-
window for Amarain to win, actually. I think there was enough points on the table on that Canada round to win the game with the 3x multiplier.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
He still took a few points off him, don't get me wrong, but definitely was more there. He was very close to Arequipa. I'm not sure if I like that. I would just go a bit more conservatively, like Eamonn, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I could see it even, being, it was south of the lake. Makes a lot of sense. I think both went very fine, and I don't know if they want to play it safe or didn't want to commit this time, maybe. Especially after last round. It took Eamonn's confidence, maybe, to commit.
Ooh, speaking of confidence,
But,
it
yeah.
looks like Australia. Was about to say this looks like New Zealand, but it's definitely not. We have a bit of a winery, which is a thing. Definitely regional, but I'm not sure where I would go here.
Yeah, we have Australian bollards, signs on the left, pretty mountainous.
Tasmania, guessed by Amarain.
Yeah,
Eamonn
I
also
can
hovering it, so
see that.
let's see if he guesses there.
Especially with those mountains and those spiky grass, what we call it. Both good clues for Tasmania, and they are both in it. Even slightly closer.
Slightly closer, but
Picking up
almost
good
enough.
points. Yeah, Amarain can't afford any mistakes now. Only on
No.
318 health.
This point in Eswatini round would be enough to knock him out.
Yeah.
So, but he
Just
gets a very big
anywhere.
country again. There's a pole again, though. That looks like an Assam pole with the offset top.
I agree. More in the west. I really like Eamonn's guess.
Yeah, it is very dry for Assam.
Ooh.
It could not be Assam. The polls are not 100%, but yeah, this looks
Yeah.
like Assam. And
And
Eamonn
again,
takes it.
had a tough time on his India guesses in this duel, I would say.
Yeah, and that's why you learn your India polls, guys. You could
Important.
take a game 2-0 just like that,
Important. Yeah.
like Eamonn did. Holy polls,
But yeah.
Gujarat.
Shout out to Eamonn. Shout out to New Zealand. Very well played there. Didn't do any blunders, any major mistakes, very consistent and very deserved 2-0 here.
Yeah, and we saw Eamonn. I don't think he lost too much points. He lost a bit of points on the Canada round to the multipliers, really. Both of them kind of just going that eastern part of Canada. Not sure where that was exactly. And yeah, Eamonn deserved win. Of course, 2-0, 3 points. He will definitely like that. Because maybe Amarain a bit of a, easier opponent where you definitely want to back that 3 points instead of just 2 points. And yeah, in the long run, you kind of want to maximize the 2-0 wins just to maximize your points.
Definitely. Every point counts. Those points are needed. They want to end up in the World Cup at the end of this league. So yeah, you don't want to miss out on any points. And Eamonn picking up 3 here against Amarain.
Yeah, speaking of wanting to go to the World Cup, up next we have Kirania facing against Armani. Also 2 players which I'm excited to see in NMPZ game. But yeah, let's see how they compare stats-wise.
If we have the stats ready,
Surely.
we should go over. Do you have any... Oh, no times for predictions. We are going over. Yeah, we have Armani versus Kirania. Both played in the World Cup.
And Armani, he technically played 1 game today, but the stats are not ready yet. So technically NA for him, but we saw he won 2-1 against Fenep. So we're just going to put that in. So 66% win rate. And the rest, we can just imagine how he played. Probably going to be pretty good.
Probably.
Kirania, we obviously have a bit more stats.
We do. There's a 40% win rate, which is pretty strong in this competition, I would say. With a 55% precision, 36 guesses with 4.5k scores or higher, and the average guess time of 27 seconds. To be honest, I thought Kirania would have had a shorter average guess time, but yeah.
Yeah, we obviously didn't see every single game he played. We saw the game earlier against Zigzag where it definitely was a bit quicker, especially in the moving game. I don't think we saw that much. But in a no-move game, he took a bit more time, found that nice US round, but in the end, Zigzag. A bit too strong in NMPZ. Just kind of, was in the flow. And I think that is a big part of, just being in the flow, winning your game. Kind of easy if you're just making good guesses.
Definitely. And here are the standings so far. We have Armani with his first game so far, so makes sense to be down there on the leaderboard. There's a lot more games to play and build that up. And we start off in Australia.
Mount Frankland is very big. It's a very big national park. So I think both of them will know where this is. At least Kirania, obviously, being from Australia, I just realized. Armani, not really sure.
Definitely. It sounds familiar to Armani. You can tell it's somewhere here. He's thinking to himself, scanning along there.
Kirania really gives him a lot of time to find this. I think if Kirania insta-sent this location, it could have been...
Well, as someone from Australia, you would probably just assume everyone knows that.
Yeah, it's hard. But now Armani actually finding it in the last few seconds. So it could have been maybe 1k points. Because it doesn't really look like it's the southwest. Because it does not usually look that green. So, but still, nice little 5k for Kirania. So maybe that gets his confidence up. And he doesn't really know what Armani found or not found. So for him, it's just, okay, I did good in that first round. Yep, he didn't see Armani struggling on the round. So that is good.
Nope. And we are in Austria here.
We have Vienna signs, I think.
I'm not sure. I didn't see any.
No, they don't seem to have the number, but both of them sending.
Both sent it anyway. Makes sense with how it looked. It was very modern rolling landscape, which you find in the east a lot in Austria.
Yeah, and as we expected, not a lot of moving going on really. Now Armani actually, going around, maybe using that knowledge to his advantage.
Yeah, he's definitely someone who likes playing United States and probably knows a little bit more in this country. Therefore, he's trying to make use of that. It does say
DC Attorney General on Armani's sign, so he definitely should know that it's Washington, DC. I hope he read that. It's a very subtle,
I didn't notice
name.
it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but I think it was noticeable, and he
Okay, he saw it. Okay.
got it.
Yeah,
Both
they are
in
both
Washington.
in Washington. Makes sense. We had the DC. And Armani. Again, it's maybe just a confidence type of round where you get this flawless off. And jump into round 3.
Actually, the entire car blurred here, as in a lot of African countries. And there might be some information on Armani's screen.
I didn't see any useful information there. However, we should be in Nigeria here. Those signs usually contain good info, because they usually tell you in which state you are in Nigeria.
Yeah, both of them really struggling to read it because they're like so far away from the road. You kind of have to like squint your eyes and try to make out what name that could be.
Yeah,
but
we saw Kirania.
I like Osogbo with the very green coverage anyway. I think if you have very super green like foliage like this, it's either max east or near Osogbo. So, and it seems like he read Osogbo somewhere because he's looking for the smaller town name now. So I definitely think Kirania is somewhere close to it.
Somewhere around. However, Armani is a bit more east in the country, and it was indeed in Osogbo. However, it was on the other side. It was
the other side,
as far west as it could have been in the
still
state.
1.8k points.
But yeah, he's happy to pick that up.
Ooh, we have a tracker here. We see the hair instead of the car.
Yeah, we have this tracker along the whole country, I would say, in Israel.
Yeah, this tracker goes the whole way. So maybe just going Jerusalem. That's fair enough. Kind of looks like that hilly region west of the city.
Yeah. Of course, you still have your surroundings to look at rather than just the hair and the tracker. Based on that. But it was pretty far north in the country, yeah.
Probably as north as it can be. And actually getting 600 points in Israel. Not the worst.
I think the tracker just starts there and, yeah, goes along the whole span. And it happened to be very far north on that one.
We do have an interesting round here with a very low-lying sun. Which can make things a bit harder to look at. Because you can't really judge how green is something really. Does it just appear a bit more greener because of the way the sun shines on it?
Yeah,
looks like we're in Colombia.
Quick, yeah.
This gravel road is very common.
Struggle to get out of the town because I don't see them moving quick. Because the location like this, I don't know. I want to get out as quick as possible to find.
Where are you going there? It looks like there's nothing here.
At the same time, I don't think you will find anything soon.
We have a max south on the border.
Not sure on which side we are, and it was the opposite side.
That might be enough to take the game, and it
was game. Yeah, wow. Maybe Armani thought there is something that looks off. And
maybe he even thought about Ecuador, because Ecuador can be a bit similar. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it was the car license plate, because it wasn't yellow, which it usually is in Colombia. However, it was a pickup truck. And those pickup trucks usually don't have those yellow plates in Colombia.
Yeah.
Just maybe something that threw him off there.
You can mention that for a lot of countries where, like, vehicles have different license plates depending on what they're used as, if they're commercial or if they're taxis. Usually that varies from country to country. But we always have to keep that in mind. But jumping into round number 2, or game number 2, I should rather say. It looks like we're in Malaysia with that
definitely
marker.
Yeah, we have
not quite sure where we are.
Which will probably tell you good info if you could read it, but in this case I don't think they can. But at least it will tell the country. And
don't see a black sticker, but it's like mainland to me. But we have a water guess.
Sure. I'm not sure okay, based on how the road looks, I would say it's mainland, but everything else looks okay. It was mainland.
Armani opting out to just be like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna take the L regardless. You have to get it right, not me. But he got it right.
Yeah.
We're in Ghana again.
Back in Ghana.
Nobody looking at the tape though. Oh, now we have a quick little look. It looks like a very big city, so I kind of like the accent.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the tape is definitely helpful, not only to get the country.
Wow, okay, I did not really see that being that north. So maybe the tape would have helped.
Yeah, it would have helped
northern
because it would have been a bit more scratched.
Yeah, but even the coastal areas near Accra are dry, and the north is dry, so no, not the worst if you think about it. But it obviously looks bad from an outsider's perspective, but from a GeoGuessr player perspective, it's pretty normal that things like that happen.
It does happen indeed. And we have an Albania around here. With this architecture, it should be Albania. And yeah, just a capital guess from Kirania. Armani, also in the capital county, but pretty far south. They both end up in the same place.
Interesting, we were on the lake. Couldn't see the lake, sadly.
Couldn't see it either, no.
Because I think with the lake, we would have seen a lot of very close guesses, just because there's not that many lakes in Albania that are this big.
No. Definitely not in that size.
We have Gen 2, and that looked like a SAS plate almost.
Yeah, Saskatchewan does make sense here.
We have to be very far north, just because this doesn't look like the dry plains. It's very wet.
Also kind of hilly.
True.
Big bodies of water, also something you see more in the north, as we can already see on the map here.
Kirania actually lying, and they're both in the same town. Funnily enough, they're both looking at...
Yeah?
Armani seems
They
to have
just
found
decided to 5k this one, why not?
Find it. If he actually
Is it
found
really
that.
though? Because he's on the east-west road.
Okay, that could have been too good if both of them just randomly zoned to the right town. It is Buffalo Narrows, I think the town name is. I can't really see the exact name.
Yeah. But yeah, makes sense to be north. As I said, with the big bodies of water around. You consider that. And we have a very rural location here. First start from Armani is Czechia and Kirania still looking around.
Yeah, they have a
Getting
pole
more
top
information out of this.
They have a pole top ready to see. I can't really make it out. It could just be a Czechia one. Kind of see the crossbar.
Yeah. Not many countries do have this one, but definitely multiple.
I don't know if that's Austria or Czechia.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's Austria or Czechia, but...
who's close is clear. It's Kirania, but I don't know who's in the right country.
Geographically closer, that's really what matters.
All that matters in GeoGuessr duels.
Judging by Armani's reaction, I kind of think it was Czechia. Speaking of Europe again, I kind of like the UK guess just because of the type of road. Type of person walking on the road.
Very lush green, these walls around, these trees along the road. Everything makes sense for United Kingdom. I thought we are a bit further south in the country. However, we have a
water guess and a
water
Scotland
guess.
guess.
Okay, they are both not too sure. I thought it's a bit more south. It is
It's a bit more south in Ireland.
Wow.
And the water guess pays off, or technically was on Isle of Man, but Isle of Man doesn't have Gen 4 coverage.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a water hedge.
Definitely knew it's not there, but sometimes it's just a good place to take a guess down and be on the safe side.
Can't really speak against 1k points.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Definitely. And what are we looking at here? My first thought was
holy poles.
Romania, but...
This looks like Carpathian Mountains near Ukraine.
Yeah.
I kind of like both of their guesses.
Yeah, definitely. See that.
It's not Carpathian Mountains. It is Carpathians, but not Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean...
But again, that is 1k points. Not a lot of difference in their guesses, really, but... Kirania, just playing it safe in the middle every time, and so far it has worked out, but on the high multis, he can't really afford to do that a lot of times.
Definitely from now on. I mean, he can play the safe route, but at the same time, he has to get somewhat close, because there's 4.5 times the multiplier on the damage now. We have some very big mountains.
Speaking of maybe going the wrong end, Norway is one of those countries where people like to go max north and south. And pro players are not exempt from that one. It happens to everyone. I kind of think it does look northern.
I do agree. I go north here. I don't know how
As we
far
know,
north.
As we know, anything can be reality in Norway.
I like
Kirania
Kirania's
just going
guess.
middle now.
I like that guess. I think he's still on the safe side, but at the same time, pretty close to where it could be.
I think if it's north, it is where Armani is. If it's south, it could just be game for Kirania. Yeah.
It was way further north, but Kirania's still in a position where he survives, so...
He played it very safe, but as you just saw, he just lost his entire lead by playing it safe there.
Yeah.
Armani, you know, just full sending it every single round and paid off in this one.
Definitely.
And now everything is possible. Especially with a Russia? Or something in Eastern Europe.
Took the lead. My first thought was Sofia or something. I thought of Bulgaria.
Some language available to the players.
Could also see Russia, maybe. It's...
I just didn't see anything on the car, so I just assumed it.
The poles were round and not square. Just a bit
Arkhangelsk.
good.
I quite like that with the like marshy
Yeah, also these
river
trees
there.
are very low, so we could be somewhere in the north.
We have both
They
players
both
in
end
the
up in
town.
Arkhangelsk then.
That would be quite crazy. And that would mean that we definitely see a round 10. Final round where Armani would have the lead by a few points. And now we have
Oh, there's
Kirania switching.
Russian pole.
So we think we will see the game regardless of where this location will be.
Don't like it. Yeah.
Is Arkhangelsk Kirania will be not happy about that switch. He had the
Not
right
at
idea.
all. I don't know what his thought process was there.
He tried to hedge both cities, but
yeah,
I think you
you're
just have to commit
not
one
in a
of them.
position. You're not in a position with 5 point, like on those multipliers. You can't do that. It's you
But
have to.
we should be
commit.
happy as viewers because that means we will go to final game of NMPZ. And let me tell you, these guys are good at NMPZ. So get ready for this final match.
Yeah, if you want to pick 2 players to end up on a NMPZ game, then those names are up there. Armani versus Kirania on an NMPZ will be a good watch, I would assume. And
We'll see.
we are starting off first round.
Ring of Fun. Looks like in India.
Yeah, by default you should consider India here.
Ooh, we have a...
Not sure.
Sao Tome doesn't have very green coverage like this, I think.
I don't think this could ever be Sao Tome.
Please don't. After I glazed them being good at NMPZ, surely we don't see Sao Tome on India.
Yeah,
I think-
no. He's just playing with us. He's playing with us.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. They like to tease us.
Yeah.
As to where in
They
India
do.
this is, your guess is as good as mine.
Mm-hmm.
Cambodia, also an option. It could be Cambodia.
I was thinking about Cambodia. Those were my 2
He's
guesses.
between all the countries right now. He's going through, and he's going to Sao Tome. That's like the only country I don't really like. He's switching. I hope he's
Okay.
switching again. Yeah, but he's not sure. Kirania is very sure in India.
It was Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, something was off. We did consider a lot of countries, but I did not think about Sri Lanka. But
See, this is why I couldn't place it in India, because it wasn't. Obviously, if it was India, I could have told you the 5k, but...
give me
If it's
10
Sri Lanka.
guesses, and none of them will end up in Sri Lanka, that's for sure. But we
If you have
move on.
country guesses, yes, then it would have been somewhere on the list, but...
Maybe, but
Because there's not that many countries with this camera quality.
that's also true. But if you have to spread it out in the country,
We have so
you
different guesses
will
here
leave
in
some,
India, by
yeah.
the way.
Oh, that was a very committed guess by Kirania. I don't know what he saw.
He saw some hills and thought it would be just a ridge to the very north.
Yeah.
Maybe he has looked at coverage there before, which can always be a thing they take into account. No. That's gonna be his half of his health gone.
Yeah, and we
both
move
not on
on
Spain.
to... Seems like a Spain round. These buildings definitely look like Spain. My first thought when it did load in was Portugal, but I like Spain more now.
Especially with this type of road. I think just the pavement looks more Spanish, if that makes any sense. And we have a switch to Italy.
Oh, no, he's not happy.
I think he's still in the game.
He's giving up his lead, but still in the game.
Armani not happy. I think he's a bit nervous because he's switching a lot.
Yeah, this does not look like the Armani that I know.
Armani, I know, is just sending it in 5 seconds, and usually he's right.
Yeah. He's definitely probably nervous.
Two completely different guesses again. We will probably see the game here if they stay where they are right now. We have a Bulgaria guess and an Austria, and honestly, I can't really tell you where this is.
I mean, I don't like the Bulgaria guess here. Yeah, Slovakia makes more sense because this gravel road and the field doesn't look Bulgarian to me. However, the mountain range combined with the summer coverage is something you see a lot in Bulgaria.
I thought about Hungary, Romania here.
Yeah.
With this type of road, but...
Then again, this mountain in Hungary is very unlikely, so Czechia, Slovakia, Romania are things that I consider. It was Slovakia, he was on it.
Armani switched off it again.
He was on it. He was very, very close there, and he switched up his guess. Really not the best thing to happen, considering the fact he's already nervous and not locked in, and after something like that happens, it can throw you off. We are in Japan. Anything can happen here. We don't have any polls to work with. So it's a pure vibe guess, I would say, you have to put down.
Armani's just, okay, I'm slamming it middle. He's like, what am I looking at? Both of them very in the middle of the country. Maybe Kirania moves a bit more east. I could see this being North Coast. Yeah, it was North Coast because we did have a very flat area and mountain southeast, which is very common around that Niigata coast, going all the way up.
Yeah, definitely way more big valleys in the north, but yeah, it could have been anywhere.
You don't really want to risk it on a round like Japan, especially if you play NMPZ.
And another
countries that are very hard to reach and guess.
Another round where the country is straightforward, but the region guess is...
Okay, this game is killing me.
It's not south though, right?
Armani, wow. He's on it. See, that's Armani, I know. Insta-sending Thailand, getting that close. That is a very impressive guess.
Definitely. Armani did strike back there. Had a rough start into the NMPZ game. But yeah, he did show off that he is an NMPZ player, as we saw. I mean, it's a good... Sometimes it's a good thing that we can see the plonks before they guess. Sometimes it's not so good. On the South Tommy round, it was not so good. On the Slovakia round, we could tell he did consider that area. So definitely, yeah, a very interesting game. Not as I expected it to take his pace, but I'm happy that we had such a good game to see.
Yeah, but that just really shows there's things on the line, and people are not really, just taking it very casually. They think about everything, thinking things over and over. You saw Armani being in the right region in Spain and just deciding, maybe this is Italy, I don't know, I'm nervous. And the same thing happened to Kirania, actually. That's the only reason we got to this third game, was that last second switch from Arkansgeld, switching to just a random region in Russia with not even a town in sight. So yeah, definitely see people having nerves, and I can definitely understand them.
Yeah, definitely. We did need more confidence on either side on that game. However, let's look at the other games.
Yeah, we have Zigzag taking another 2-0 victory. Or not another, he actually won 2-1 against Kirania. So a pretty good day for our guy. And we also have Feneb actually taking a 2-1 against V89. And that means that Feneb took the NMPZ game against probably one of the best top 5 NMPZ player I know. So definitely something you want to watch out for when watching the weekly recap that is hosted by Bloom every week. So you don't miss, exciting games like this. But, we kind of in the luxury position where pretty much every game could be interesting. So, there's always things to see, things to watch.
Yeah, definitely. With the NMPZ games we saw previously, this map is very hard. It's just anyone's game, as we can see. Even as someone who's more favored in moving, who is Feneb, he can pull off a win against V89, who's very good at NMPZ, because it's so hard sometimes. But yeah, that's about the games that happened now. What's next up? We see Kratzu versus Malfunction. And again, I would say a matchup where both playstyles are similar. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. Malfunction and Kratzu, I'm very excited for the moving game. I mean, Malfunction is very, very talented in moving. I cannot lie. Definitely, probably in my top 5 of moving players. Maybe not suited for the duels mode, but I think just in consistency of moving, I definitely see her up there.
Yeah,
and here are the standings. Zigzag moving up, V89 moving up.
Yeah, as you already said, Malfunction very good at moving, Krotzo very good at moving. We have 2 moving players facing each other. And yeah, it's not really about pinpointing, because if you think of good moving players, you think of those who get the 5k as quick as possible. But in a duel, you only have to get the right region quick. So that's a difference between the duels format and someone who's actually very good at moving games. But still, I mean, you have plenty of time. If you're really, really good at moving, you can still pull off some really good guesses here.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see whether Malfunction adapts to this like duels format or not. But let me just tell you, this matchup will be insane, especially the moving part. So don't go anywhere, and we're gonna hop into a quick break. Welcome back to the action. This time, bit of a longer break, 2 minutes instead of 1 minute. Actually didn't have to sprint to the toilet this time. But yeah, we have Malfunction, we have Krotzo. We just talked about the moving game. But let's talk about a different mode. Let's talk about if it goes to NMPZ. Who do you see in the lead there, Gelotris?
Ooh, that's very hard to say. I mean, Especially the moving game will be crucial on this one, I think. Probably because they are both. However, I didn't see Malfunction play no move too often, but I know Kratzu also knows some stuff for no move, so he's maybe a bit more favored. But I can't tell because I don't know Malfunction too well on those modes. What are your predictions?
Yeah, I mean, my prediction really is, as you maybe just pointed out, I think Malfunction will take the moving game, will maybe not win the no-move game, and then we see an NMPZ game, which I kind of hope for, just because then we have the full roster, because I think it's just very close in the moving part, and 10 rounds are almost not enough to really showcase how consistent you have to be in those moving games, especially on the high multipliers. You miss one round, you're out. So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I would really like to see an NMPZ game here on this one, because yeah, it would be...
Let's go into the highly awaited moving game. And we start off in France.
Yeah, we have V something, so... We have the town name.
It's just Paris, and obviously knows.
I don't know.
Dijon guess. I have to trust Kratzu here, but the good thing is it's round 1.
Yeah.
So, and she switches to Paris, so... And even gets closer.
Got the plunk down. She is happy that that switch did register, because sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, it was a good save.
Not only not losing points, but also getting closer in France, you know, the mind games.
Yeah.
They start like, okay, you just got a France round, you didn't get closer. What are you doing, Kratzu?
Yeah, I think they're just playing with us today. First off Armani, now Malfunction. They're just making us think they would guess somewhere else, but they clearly know where they are. And we are in round 2.
And we are in Botswana.
Looks like Botswana.
F-Town. Which one could be Francis Town?
Francis Town.
And both of them in the town again.
Yeah, makes sense.
See, this is how I kind of saw the game coming. If there's going to be info on every round, we're just going to see.
Yeah, but they
like this
are actually going to try and move to fight info. I think that's the difference between this game and the games between players who don't really play moving.
Speaking of moving for info,
and
don't really need to move here, but
nope.
Alapia, very big town, and you will find the rest.
Yeah. However, where exactly are we? On which side of the span? We have Malfunction already lining it up. Kratzu still scanning the map, also lining it up now. And it's...
Yes, it's an intersection with an intersection north. It is south though, so it's not gonna be the 5k for him.
Okay, I was surprised. But yeah.
Regardless of the outcomes, but it'll probably just be a minimal points, 100 points, maybe 200.
Shouldn't be.
And we even got 5k.
A lot of
by Malfunction.
Yeah.
That's kind of what she does, you know, just 5k every location.
Sure.
So, we lost 50 points so far in 3 rounds.
And we are in round 4 now.
In Brazil with this Brazilian letter polls.
Yeah, they contain info sometimes, but in this case I'm not sure if it's telling us where we are.
Yeah, maybe try to move for a phone code. This looks like a very interesting round. We're like on top of a hill and we have a huge body of water. And Malfunction found a phone number, so he definitely wants to get our guess in quick.
Yeah,
Rio makes a lot of sense with these type of mountains.
Yeah, 21 area
code. Try to get it without info. Let's see. Because you kind of have to be good at that as well.
To be fair, it doesn't look like a big city.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to get.
Yeah. So yeah, Malfunction did the right thing, put the pressure on, getting the info for this right region and sending it down. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. In these dual formats, it's not about getting the right position, it's just about getting the right region most of the times. And that's what happened there.
She moved a lot more than Kratzu in that round. Kratzu looked at that pole forever and then spent more time looking at the water. And at that time, Malfunction already got to a phone code. No, lucky. Now we have the Northern Tunisia follow car, the very light one. And Malfunction is lining something up, interestingly enough.
Yeah, we have railways, which you can just move along in the country because, yeah, there aren't too many railways. But however, they go for a long span, so... If you have a good vibe guess, if you know the somewhat rough region, you can scan for them and look for something that lines up. Especially
We're
here, which looks
town,
like
so
a divided road, and we have a roundabout. Both things you can make good use of in a moving game.
Yeah, Kratzu just scanning Bizerte has us pinned down in Tunis though, just like
Yep.
function.
Both in Tunis, and it was just around there between them. No points here.
No points. We hear the cling,
Cling.
which means
And
no damage done.
we are moving over to the next round.
And we are in the Philippines. We did those strikes.
Yeah.
Philippines always good for information, and especially in a urban environment, you can find a province name very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We have Pamplona, which is, I think, is near Manila. I think.
Didn't see that.
I don't know if it's a. It could just be a city name because this didn't really appear north to me. So I think because they definitely found something.
This will definitely contain info what we have on both screens.
Maguete. Not sure how I saw Pamplona there. This could be pretty big if my function moves further up north.
Yeah.
But right now it looks decently enough.
Around.
Switching last second, getting a bit more damage.
Yeah, not happy about that one, but still in the lead.
Not sure how I read Pamplona there.
I am not sure either, but...
Sometimes we read the right things, sometimes the wrong things, but this one I can definitely tell you that we're going to be in main Malaysia with those black stickers we have on these poles.
Definitely one of the best clues to learn, especially early on if you start this game. Black stickers on the pole equals mainland Malaysia.
Yeah, also bollards. These bollards with 2 red dots on them, which kind of look similar to the ones you find in Australia. They are also pretty much only in mainland. Definitely see them sometimes.
Said Kota Tinggi.
Kota Tinggi sounds like something in
So
North Sumatra,
Kota
but
means city. Therefore, we have the city name and a very confident guess from Kratzu.
last second find of a sign. It won't be enough time to find it though, and that is gonna be massive damage.
Yeah. That's a good lead for Kratzu, now turning this duel around.
Yeah, definitely getting the lucky multipliers coming in for him right now, but he still has to get the next few rounds, and this round exactly doesn't look like a round where you find a lot of information.
No.
As to where in the country this is,
Yeah.
not my strongest.
And again, Malfunction is out of this road already, getting good info, however Kratzu is still making his way out.
Especially if she finds a phone code, this could be massive.
Yeah,
phone codes are very helpful in Russia.
Reminds me back of the Brazil round where Malfunction
There's even a
just
town name.
tries to get to the info quicker.
Looks like it starts with a K.
Marsa?
Oh, no, that one.
Or something? I am
Yeah, I
not
can't
sure.
really read that. It's not Mia's. It wasn't Mia's, right? We have very big hills though for Russia.
Big ridge, yeah.
So I kind of like the region west of Chelyabinsk and those Ural hills.
The Ural mountains do make sense here because it doesn't look Caucasian too much.
Kratzu needs to open his map. He will definitely go Urals as well, just because of the mountains.
Yeah, they are both in the right region. However, we are on 4.5 already, and he happens to get closer there.
Kratzu
It's not
almost
game, though.
winning the game by space
He
plonking, basically.
could have. With a 5 kill, it could have been game. Maybe.
Maybe.
And we are on round 9, which looks like a France round again, maybe?
Didn't really see France here, but I definitely need to look at more things.
Yeah.
We're kind of jumping around in this coverage.
I saw Clio.
Okay, that definitely looks like France now.
Yeah, very...
Policia Municipal.
It's like a new built neighborhood, so not very...
Is that a phone code? No, it's not.
Some signs.
It says a town name.
Does it say Cambrai?
Cambrai, where's that?
I have not heard of Cambrai before. This buildings, especially with the black roofs. White buildings, black roofs equals more north or northwest.
No, this looks like almost like the border to Belgium to me, just because of the houses, but
yeah, definitely. We had some brick buildings as
Where
well.
will Kratzu guess here? Will he also just go Paris? It looks like both of them Paris malfunction, eyeing out the region close to Belgium, and
it was.
Kratzu switching out of Paris.
Again.
Could have won there.
Oh, yeah, she could have won. She was considering it.
And now we go into the final round. 700 points difference.
Yeah, let's see.
To show up.
Let's see what the round is, and it is rural. Who will get to info first? Who will send it
like
first?
New Zealand.
Yeah. We have those heteros. But
is New Zealand, this is not easy to get.
No.
Even no move. I don't even know where this is. But if we get a street sign, this is going to be free 5k. And definitely someone to learn this. Looks like West Coast. The South Island.
It looks like we are in New Zealand, yeah, with those white signposts.
Yeah, I could definitely see something around Westport.
Oh, changing generations.
Ineroa Orchard. Orchard, okay. I think we should be on the north coast of the South Island with orchards like this and the black car.
Yeah,
that's where Kratzu is
Kratzu
into.
hovering that.
Also considering West Coast, also not a bad guess.
Yeah.
Malfunction needs to make a guess now, not even open the map yet.
Yeah, she's really trying to get a good vibe here, still panning around,
Kratzu,
going back
last
to
second
spawn.
switch.
He's on the north, and it is actually north of the North Island.
Okay, it is
very interesting.
The wrong north coast. Very interesting.
Wow, that looked so weird for that area.
Yeah, and as you can see, usually I'm pretty decent at New Zealand. It's pretty hard to follow if people are just not looking at the right clues. But what can I say? Kratzu winning the game. Maybe lucky, maybe not.
Yeah, especially on a round like that where both players end up in the wrong region, but one happens to be closer. It's not the most satisfying win, but a point is a point. So Kratzu picking up that one, and we jump over to the no-move game here, starting off in India again. We've seen it a couple times today, and we have seen games being decided on this country. We have a guest down from a function just on the border, northwest of Odisha. And that's also somewhere where Kratzu is, yeah. Again, similar regions with their guesses.
Yeah, he's kind of like forests with a bit of red soil is usually a bit more east, like Chhattisgarh, Odisha region. So both of them kind of going the same. And we will not leave the country.
Are back. And they have to prove themselves again on this country. Again, we have some mountain formations there. Very interesting ones though, because it's very flat otherwise, but you have some clustered mountains here and there, which might be some region specific clue.
If you've seen it before, you might know.
Yeah.
Personally, wouldn't know where to click here.
No,
very non-distinct poles.
Yeah, these poles are very generic to me. However, with a flat landscape, you consider more than northern half of the country. But you never know.
We have one very big switch now.
Both switching around the country, both not too sure. But there will definitely be some points on the line here, I would say, unless it's very far west in the country. But no, Kratzu is on it.
Right on it there. In Telangana, but it's right over the border. In Andhra Pradesh. It's going to be massive. Function kind of needs to fight back now, but the countries really stay big right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're moving from India. I know we're in Russia with this black car with long antenna. This doesn't look like an easy round either.
No, not at all.
Not quite sure where to guess here.
Work with. We have some vegetational clues. Maybe it doesn't look too cold, so maybe the southern guess makes sense. Also looking
usually if you don't have any pines, usually if you don't have any birches, it's very far south. I don't know if we have birches or not, and we have a St. Petersburg guess by malfunction, so as far away as you can be really in the west. And we have a lock-in, and
it's a very
risky.
Do we have birches here?
I think we do. But
we do, yeah. That should be more north in the country then.
Yeah, kind of like more just
or
Moscow,
at least
maybe.
Not south, but very good switch from malfunction there.
She was trying to switch to
Striking
Moscow,
back,
so
yeah.
she would have been further away with that one, but it was good that the guess didn't go through.
Yeah, that gave her the lead. And my very first thought, obviously, with those palms is Sulawesi. However, let's look around.
We have this
We
fence
should
also.
be in Indonesia, though, with how everything looks. The buildings look
Yes.
Indonesian, the poles look Indonesian, the road looks Indonesian, the palms look Indonesian.
True, but where in Indonesia do you go? We have these fences as well, which is also a Sula thing. We have a West Sumatra where malfunction.
Yeah, we had this mix-up in the league already, where we weren't sure if it's West Sumatra or Sulawesi.
And this might not be sure either. We have a Kalimantan.
Can also
I mean,
see
it's
that.
coastal, so it's very hard to say
Yeah,
whether these palms are
definitely.
usually here or not, so I definitely can see it. We have a Maluku hover, at least. I don't think Maluku is this
Ooh,
flat.
I don't think you would ever get this flatness in Maluku.
So, I think Ratsu definitely...
The buildings look
good
like
here.
Kalimantan, but it was indeed
Wow.
West Sumatra again, malfunction getting very close again, and only those 2 rounds we saw
And that
was
means
what she needed.
we go to the one thing we're talking about, which is the NMPZ game, where I don't think we're sure who will take this, and after a back and forth in the no move like this, I don't think there will be a clear winner
Nope.
Beforehand either. So
No, I would agree. This
we'll see the comeback.
will be an interesting match, both not known at all to be NMPZ players, but they have to. And let's see
They're
how it
close.
will turn out. Starting
I'm
off
looking focused.
with this. Is that a bollard or something? I can't really tell what we have on the side of the road.
See, I'm not sure whether we are in Scotland. Where are we actually? We have a Spain hover by Kratzu.
Yeah,
Could
it
be the
looked
northern
a bit more
coast of
warm. I
Spain.
thought Southern Europe.
Like, what also crossed my mind is South Africa, but I think the vegetation is off, plus the sun is south instead of north.
Yeah, is that the front of the car? That's also something I'm trying to figure out with the shadow of the car, but I can't figure out what it is. It was
is
actually
Portugal.
Portugal, yeah.
Kratzu going the border. Maybe he's in the right country. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. That he's close. He is close. Although, that could have been way worse, because I don't think that was the easiest NMPZ round to start off this game.
Could have, definitely.
Speaking of countries I'm not good at.
Going
Brazil.
over... Yeah, that palm looks a bit more northern, but everything...
Especially this building looks very like,
else.
Amazonian. We're somewhere near.
Yes, there are
Big
definitely
river.
multiple regions I consider here. No strong clues for any region. However, it is a bit sandy. Maybe not really.
Kratzu just heading in the middle.
It is Rondonia, wow.
It's Rondonia, which I don't think is very easy to get.
No, not at all.
Acre, also an understandable guess.
Yeah, it looked very weird, very off for everything else.
And a clean 2k points. Actually, exactly 2k.
Yeah.
We are continuing in Malaysia.
Yeah, looks like Malaysia with these poles. And the architecture again looks very Asian.
Can't see whether we have black stickers or not. This almost felt like Borneo Malay, like either could something around. Yeah, I like Cebu. Actually,
Yeah,
very
I
flat.
could see that.
Definitely see that. And we also have
Chingas,
Chingas. And it is.
This Kuching malfunction is playing very well so far.
She is in the kitchen cooking right now. I mean,
Building up.
tell me that much. I mean, after that West
Goodly.
Sumatra guess, holy moly, she's kind of on fire right now.
Definitely, definitely. Some very good guesses. We saw a Quebec chevron here.
We have a gas peninsula.
Side.
Super risky, can be super rewarded. I don't know if it's there. The vegetation doesn't look like there, but maybe he knows something about the smudge on the car. We'll see. But I kind of like malfunctions.
What's on the other side?
Malfunction getting a bit unlucky there, I can't lie. Really feel like that peninsula there, but he had the northern
Geographically
vibe, so
closer though, yeah.
what can we can only blame the game, not Kratzu, by doing this insta-send.
True. And we have these dashes on the lines with those mountains. Should be Norway.
Could be southwest, just because of the mountains. how big they are.
Very
and
lush green as well.
no big points here, maybe just a few hundred. Wow.
I mean...
Not a lot of points, I said. I mean, 800.
But again, in the right park. However, both guesses are very good there.
Yeah.
Not to discredit Kratzu, but Malfunction is just on it.
We have some language here on the right. I can't really read that. There's like impasse de...
Something with
something?
A.
So, I'm thinking about Spain here.
Yeah, that would definitely work.
Just because of also how the windows are. But region guessing this.
The architecture looks so weird to me. But it's only those two buildings in the middle, I think.
Really
because
France?
the building left...
I don't know. Maybe it's just France.
Yeah.
We have southern France, so maybe it's just South France because it looks like Spain.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be... more reasonable, because the
Will
building does
Kratzu
not
actually
look
lose its own
Spanish
country here? I
at
mean,
all.
we have a
It
huge
could
discrepancy in guesses.
It's pretty far north. Don't know why, but it is.
Well, it's north. What can you say? Not sure how that's
Wow.
north. Has to
Yeah.
be some architecture he knows. But wow, Kratzu.
Definitely, like that architecture looked
Getting
a
France.
bit weird. And we had those shutters and all of that, which made me think it's more south. And Malfunction also thought it's south, but yeah, very interesting game. I think Malfunction is not too happy about losing that game after she did play it super well. But it is about consistency. It is about consistency. And Kratzu was right when he had to be right.
Yeah, sadly no Luxembourg round, but
No.
obviously that would have not been a lot of points. You know, in the other French round, I think Malfunction was closer. So Kratzu getting closer when it really means what you just said. And taking that win after almost getting reverse swept.
Yeah, very interesting game overall. I liked all modes. The moving game was very good to watch. The no-move game was good. The NMPZ game was way different than I expected. They played it off super well. So yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah, and speaking of people who are very similar in playstyle, like Malfunction, like Kratzu, I think now we're going to two people which are a bit different in playstyles. I think with Fennep, we have Yanik, and I think they definitely differ in playstyle. We have Fennep, who definitely prefers the moving mode, definitely prefers to have information around, and we have Yanik, who probably likes to be a bit more rural. So definitely be interesting to see how the game pans out. Yeah, as you can see, Fennep, 53% win rate, so doing pretty well. He had an amazing first week, going 4-0, I think. 59% precision, 63 guesses at 4.5k. That's a lot, I have to say, and that shows how he, you know, edges out the last few points, trying to get very close. Average guess time, pretty standard, I would say. Not much to add here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to match those 59% from Fennep. I think that's the highest we had so far. Yeah, we have Yanik here with a 55% win rate. 11 games in so far with a 47% accuracy or precision. 39 guesses with 4.5k or higher. Average guess time also similar like Fennep, 34 seconds for Yanik here.
Yeah, both pretty on the same level when it comes to like win rate and guess time, but on the precision things, Fennep is really on it. And I think that really comes from his moving games, because it's a lot easier to get 4.5k in a moving game than in those, you know, later NMPZ games.
Definitely, but at the same time, 59% still is very high so far, even if it only came from the moving games.
Yeah, as we just saw in the standings, Yanik a bit further down the standings, but it's only 2 points between these guys. So if Yanik wins a 2-0 here, he's passing Fennep just like that. We're jumping right in.
Yeah. We are in a moving game, however, it feels like a
does say
no-move game.
Cartagena. It does say Cartagena on the sign.
I had
Very
to
good spot by Yanik.
double check because they both didn't really move. I mean, we had good signs, but yeah, saying Cartagena there. Fennep didn't spot it. And
Yeah, and I
will
was
be
talking about
good
this, that this
points.
happens a lot, that moving players just start moving instantly. Meanwhile, these no-move NMPZ players, you know, just stand still, move around, and he found a very hidden sign that said Cartagena, which you probably wouldn't pay any attention if you moved there.
Yeah.
But because it being at spawn, it was just available to him and he used it. So can't blame him for that one.
Not at all. And this time Fennep made a good look at spawn, panning 2 or 3 times around, not missing any signs. Going a bit further down, it looks like Albania so far to me. With the coverage, with the buildings, how everything looks, the landscape looks very Albanian to me, and they both agree with me.
If they both agree with you, it probably has to be right, so...
Hey, it definitely has to be then. Tirana, I guess, from Fennep in the capital. Yanik still looking around also. No, not also.
Oh, I think they're both in Tirana.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Saw it wrong then.
Just near the nice suburb of Kino Studio. Pretty interesting name there.
Yeah.
At least to Germans. I don't think Kino really means anything in English, but...
I don't think so.
Nonetheless... Now they have bigger decisions to make. Finding the phone code.
Yeah,
Brazil.
we are in Brazil.
We have the bird on the pole. If you trust Chupa, then that is Belém, but it says Alagoas there. Did it say de Alagoas on that sign by Fennep?
I was looking at Yanik's screen
I
for a
just
second.
saw it very briefly and it looked like it said Alagoas, but don't...
Interesting.
Not gonna give you my word for it.
Because Yanik didn't get any good sign yet. But I think he's a bit behind Fennep on the road.
Rio Branco, which is in... it says Rio Branco, that's Acre. Wait.
I was about to say, the building we spawned at looked similar like the one we had in Acre on the...
And he goes to Rio Branco, and if it is there, and that could... He goes to
yeah,
Belém Bird! He knows the Belém Bird!
Guess.
No! The Belém Bird!
Oh no! It was indeed Acre, and Fennep striking back with a very important guess here, because it is the game-winning one.
And this is where you just have to navigate through these urban hellholes of towns, where you just really have to find that one building that gives you the town name. Even giving you the town name, area code would have been even enough.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was definitely not Alagoas, as I just saw, and it was not a bird sitting on a pole that is Belém. It was just Rio Branco.
Nope. I would trust that one more than a bird sitting on a pole, but yeah. Fennep made a very good use of his pace, of his moving pace. He moved from sign to sign way quicker than Yanik, and Yanik got a bit behind there. And that gave the info that was needed quicker to Fennep. And be moving over to this no move round.
I think that's a Estonian sign because if it's facing your way completely, that means Estonia. If it's facing parallel to the road, it should be Latvia. And if it's angled, it should be Lithuania.
You are correct.
And somebody just pointed something very interesting out. Is Fennep asserting dominance by appearing bigger in his face cam? Yanik barely visible. No, there's also something interesting with the added face cams now. We can see how they want to appear on stream.
Definitely Fennep going with the Counter-Strike strat. Getting very close to the monitor. Getting more information out of every round.
Maybe it's an angled sign, so it is Lithuania. Can't really see. It is.
No, it was angled. It didn't look angled to me as well, so... Good spot, and that was probably because he is sitting closer to his monitor, spotting that angle.
Definitely.
We are moving over to round 2.
Only reason we have a passing place sign.
This passing place sign, which is very common in Scotland. Not exclusive, but very common.
How many train lines are there in Scotland? There can't be that many, right?
I don't think so, but if you know them, you can make a good guess. Landscape also looks very Scottish. Let's see where it's ending up being. It's pretty far north-west. And that's a couple points for Fennep again.
No, it's always interesting to see it. Look at players' face cam, because Fennep almost looked disappointed there, even though he got closer, and not really much closer he could have gotten there, but kind of interesting.
He could have gotten closer. Hey,
true, lining up that railway is possible.
It is possible. And we move over to Nigeria round.
It's very hilly, which is usually like Abuja, Jos, Gauche, Gombe, Bauchi. So something around there, one of those towns.
Yeah.
It is Yos, and he is on it, as I mentioned, one of the towns that is hilly. But I also mentioned Abuja, but usually Abuja a bit more like greenish.
I was about
That
to
makes
say,
sense.
yeah, I think Abuja I associate with more greens, especially in the mountains.
See, that's what I mean. Fennep just, gets closer somehow, and now he's in his home country of Australia, and he has water available, and maybe a town name.
Yeah, and with that pole, we also know we are in South Australia, the Stobie pole.
The Oreo pole.
Or the
Cookie
Oreo pole, how some might call it. We have a big river, if it is one.
Both of them seeing town name now, and both of them spotting the water, so both technically can 5k this.
A hard time to tell how big the body of water is compared to how it has to look on the map sometimes.
It looks like we have some land on the other side again. I don't know what that says on the sign, so I don't know if it does say Arno Bay. But
No, but what's interesting to me is Yanik is getting an area with water south, and Fennep is in an area with water north.
well, was northeast, I think, so
It's
pretty hard to find that one.
There's not much happening here, though. And we move over to the next round. We are
Smart
in
city.
Thailand with the script.
Even a bit of English writing. Nakhon Sawan, that is very big.
Nakhon Sawan municipality. Okay, we have Yanik in the town.
Definitely 5k-able. I want to see a
But
5k.
Fennep?
Wait, Fennep doesn't know. It's on a screen. It's one of the biggest provinces in...
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, he still has time
I
because
think
Yanik
it
Insta-sent.
sounds familiar to him.
To be fair, there's a lot...
Yanik will not be happy rewatching this game,
Yeah.
because this is where he has to send it and put the pressure down while Fennep is still scanning for it. It sounds familiar to him.
And he found... Did he find it? No, he's in Kanchanaburi. Thing is, there's so many provinces that start with Nakhon, so it's kind of hard to know the exact one, but it seems like he doesn't think
He's
it's
on the
a...
5k. I think he's on the 5k.
Yeah,
it
he
looks
is.
very good.
That's gonna be 5k by Yanik. Or
And it's not.
But actually,
It's
Fennep
very
switched
good.
pretty close to it.
Yeah, he somehow
last
ended up
second.
very close. Yanik
But Fennep knows he missed
probably
something.
surprised about that guess, considering he's that close but not in the right province. But
Maybe Fennep gave up on the
Good
idea that
for
it
Fennep.
was a province and thought it was just a town name.
maybe.
Then just
I
gave
mean,
up.
it's head municipality that can also be smaller places, which
Yeah, if it's-
sometimes don't even show up on the map.
If it's a huge city like that,
Yeah.
then it has to be pretty known.
Yeah,
Especially with English language on signs like that.
definitely you don't see that everywhere in Thailand. However, we are in Argentina now. Flat landscape, looking pretty green. Couple areas that make sense to me here, but I think Santa Fe is something that I considered.
Santiago del Estero also has these very dry landscapes. Usually the shrubbery is a bit like smaller there. But everything between Cordoba, north, I don't know, I can see a lot of places there making sense.
Yeah, did we have any mountains inside? I don't think so.
Don't think so.
Okay.
Similar guesses, pretty much. Still can be a lot of points.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that is very hard to get.
Yeah, both
We
of
are
them
in
leaning
La
back.
Pampa on a curved road, green. Yeah, that's hard to get.
For context, La Pampa is usually a state where every road goes north-south or west-east, pretty much like the US, and being a road like that, pretty unlucky that it's right on the bend. So,
Yeah.
gonna
You
be
also
again,
might think La Pampa is dry because all of the old coverage was during dry season, but the new coverage is during the green seasons, and that makes it look way different.
I don't really know how to get that one. That
Yeah.
is pretty tough.
That is
But
hard.
we're back. We're next to some volcano again, Guatemala, so probably a very similar area as we saw in the earlier game.
It was
It
indeed
is.
similar area, just a couple roads over, but
500
much
points for
happening here.
Guatemala, that is, he'll take that.
yeah, for Guatemala standards, that's pretty good. But for the course of the game. I don't think that will matter too much, especially if we have more rounds like this. We
Have the pole top.
a fork.
Should be Osaka area, Kansai. Pole top, which is fork on the pole top. And
Yep.
I hope, I think Fenip knows.
Yep, that should be the right region.
Oh,
Fenip
he's not in the
is
right one.
more
It's not too
east.
bad, but still.
Yeah.
Definitely a
Got
clue there.
away
To pick up.
good, yeah.
Yeah, he's like holding his head. He's like, what is happening? Also, the Thailand round earlier, he really has to lock in. And speaking of locking in, or base countries,
Base
I make a
country
call?
Indeed.
Don't want to.
Do I want to?
I don't want to Mersin.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, GG.
However, I can't tell you where it is. It is Turkey, for context, for the chat. It is
It is
Turkey.
White car. We
I
stand up.
could see the West Kahramanmaraş gas. It could also
Wait,
be
that is a
way
cook.
further west.
It's a cook by Fenip, I think. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's way further
Mercy
west.
would have been pretty close.
It would have.
Usually the region north of Alanya is more red soil, if I...
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
At least.
the rockness of the mountain starts more west of Mersin. Or Mersin province, we should say, because Mersin, the town itself, is pretty far east in the province, and it
We
has
need
a
to lock
long
in here
western
because
side,
we
but
are in the final round.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter how much you're up here because it looks like Brazil, like a big country. It looks like we're in Acre.
Dude,
but
we have a rolling landscape with these palms. Make a lot of sense for Acre, especially
either Acre
also
or
with the soil.
Maraba, which is very far away from Acre. Kind of the two places that you really consider with this. But if both players go Acre, I think we might just see the game for...
Oh,
Yeah, and it's a mappa. Wow.
yeah, and that's the game for
gonna be
Yanik.
game.
Fenip not happy about that one. He could have turned that around, but just wasn't right there with his guess. I mean,
Yeah,
neither of them were, but
Didn't
Fenip
even
had
consider
to.
that one. So
Yeah. Not at all. These pumps are actually pretty common up there in Maraba and Acre, but given the landscape, I didn't think of a mappa. Not really.
yeah, mappa is usually pretty flat in those like areas near the biggest city. But let's not talk about that one because that's in the past. We're in the present. We're in NMPZ.
We
are
are
in game 3. And
back to an NMPZ game. We are blessed today.
I mean, after Fenip beat V89 in NMPZ, no,
Yeah, now we
not
get
cut
to
him out here
see
because-
him on it.
we're starting Urban US, and if I was in this game, I would not be very
We
happy
have-
about this round.
Pretty big pine trees to our right here, which make me think we are maybe a bit more north. Yeah, we have a guest down from Yanik. And Fenip also hovering North Dakota. He's also thinking it could be somewhere more north in the country. But it was actually just Idaho. And Yanik is in the right state.
Yeah, Fenip being lucky, round 1. No multiplier applied here, but if that happens in any other round, he is out.
Yeah, definitely. A very good guess by Yanik there for urban standards.
We in NMI.
Yeah, which one is it? Is it NMI?
I think it's NMI.
Mariana Islands.
I think it's
Would make
NMI.
sense.
And it is Fenip. Taking the game in 1 round, that's all he needs. That's how he does.
Wow.
That's how he wins.
And that's how
Fenip.
it's turning
Yes, the
around.
smile.
Yannick not happy about that. Fenip on the other side, very happy about that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure at all which island it is. It gave one of these island vibes. We also had some sort of car meta there to tell we are somewhere on an island, probably. But yeah, Fenip happened to be on the right one.
Yeah, not only getting like NMI Guam, but also getting the right island. So shout out to Fenip who takes this game again, and maybe he's the NMPZ GOAT at this point, beating V89, beating Yanik. So
Hey.
maybe that's the way. He just wins the moving part and the NMPZ, so it's just how he rolls.
Numbers don't lie, and we have more numbers here. Looking at the other games, we had Leero playing against Amarain. Amarain again losing
So
just
close.
in the NMPC game. And Leero getting 2 points there. We just saw the Fenip versus Yanik game. And on the other hand, we had Anu versus Harrier. Harrier dominating there with a 2-0, and Eamonn winning against Baguette on a 2-1 fashion. We have a lot of NMPZ games today, Ziggy.
I mean, I'm all for it, personally. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
Makes the breaks a bit shorter, but that's probably better for everyone.
Yeah, that's better. More games to watch, especially NMPZ is always fun to watch.
And let me tell you, the next matchup, we two are definitely very excited about. Because, I mean, look at the flags. I see my flag. So, it's going to be Lennli against Yanik. We just saw Yanik losing against Fennep. So, you know, coming in with some kind of nervousness, maybe.
Yeah.
But we see Fennep still in top. Zigzag. Aussies and the New Zealand are pretty on top right now.
Also moving up, we had both Lennli and Yanik. Not too happy about their games maybe today, but now they face each other.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has to face everyone at the end of the day. And that means that we also get these country matchups. We had Kirania, Zigzag. Now we have Lennli, Yanik. So we see head-on-head who's the better player from the country or who's the best player of the country. We'll see. And you have this. But before we see that matchup, we're going to be right back after a quick break. And we're back for our final two games and special little segment after those two games, maybe, if we get the opportunity. But let's talk about the game at hand. That is the first game we're showing, which will be Lennli against Yanik. Germany. Who's winning, Jello? I'm just going to ask like that. Who's winning?
Again, I would say we have a very similar playstyle again. I would say Lennli versus Yanik. I don't think any one of them is favored towards any mode more than the other. But I think I'm giving this one to Lennli. I think Yanik, after getting out of the match like that, he might be a bit disappointed, a bit, yeah, down, not in the momentum right now. So I think that's the reason why I'm giving it to Lennli here. What are your
Let's look at the stats-wise. Who's better off? We have Lennli 44% win rate, 58% precision. That's pretty decent. That's up there, I think. Average guess time 30 seconds. We kind of see the difference between either 20s or 30s. He's on the 30 side.
Yeah, and we have Yanik here with a win rate of 55. However, the precision is only on 47%, and that's really what it's coming down to in most of the games. You have to be precise, you have to be consistent, you have to be right when it matters. With an average guess time of 34 seconds, I would say he's also somewhere in the average guessing time.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that the precision rates don't really match the win rates, but
nope, not
I
at all.
think they will. I think they will in the long run. So yeah, maybe I'm giving it to Lennli too. And I also think Lennli definitely has done more practice in the moving mode. So I'm definitely seeing him up there. But as of right now, Yanik is standing on top of Lennli. 7 points on Yanik and 5 points for Lennli. But as I just said, 3 points are on the line. So yeah, let's get into this because Lennli can pass him right here, right now.
Yeah, very important match for both of them, I would say, especially if you compete against someone from your own country in the World Cup. You wanna end up winning, definitely, on this one. So maybe some extra motivation. And we start off the moving game in what looks like Italy to me. So far.
Interesting coastline here. Palmar. Was that something? Not sure.
Looks like a name for a restaurant or something.
But we're in Croatia, I think.
Yeah.
That definitely said Ulica. And the rest also.
The language.
Rijeka. Okay, Croatian. Both of them have the same sign in the same second. What is going on? Both in the same second.
We have the same pace. Now you can tell they both play from Germany with the same connection and get to the same sign at the same time.
But Lennli suffering a huge loss. 1 point loss.
Yeah, will
How
he
can he
ever recover from that? We are. I was about to say Brazil, but it's
France.
Portugal.
Wait, no.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's Portugal.
Wait, it's Portugal.
Oh, why was okay?
Okay, we had Portuguese on the wall, and I thought it's Brazil, but
I'm
it's
dyslexic.
actually just.
I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
That's known.
Well, we have a region guess inside Lisbon from Yanik. I don't know if he found the info for that because I was looking at Lennli's screen, but he also got good signs now. However, he's going more north. He's going way more north there. And it was indeed just Lisbon. I think Yanik had the sign for the suburb name. Yeah,
it definitely had something because he was definitely looking for it and found it. No?
Yeah, especially if
damage.
Someone clicks in the middle of a label, you would assume they found that somewhere. And we end up in a tracker of a city center here.
A lot of... Looks like Sweden.
Gade.
Oh, is that... It's Danish, right?
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
Not necessarily.
Oh, he has a town name on his sign.
We have those yellow license plates on the truck, which is a Danish thing.
Yanik finding the info again and using it again. Finds the right town with Aarhus.
Yeah, was indeed Aarhus.
Again
Yanik.
Pretty decent amount of points.
Getting to the right info at a quicker pace than Lennli does so far.
We are actually not leaving Europe this seed, it seems like.
We are not. Kind of a rock wall here, which is interesting, but...
There's a bit of language on there.
Sure, it looks Nordic again.
We could be in Denmark again, which I kind of like.
Could be Denmark, especially with this building that we just crossed. Oh,
there's
especially that building looks very Danish. Yep.
We have coast, and he's trying to use the coast. Maybe that pays off.
Hitting him out. He's on the right coastline. Yanik playing it out very well so far in those first 4 rounds of this moving duel, Lennli versus Yanik. And the 5th round is about to start. It looks like we are in...
There's Odessa and Kiev.
Is it Odessa and Kiev? Yeah.
Be a 5k as well, and we have another town name to confirm the 5k with. Maybe we'll see 1 5k, if not 2. I think Lennli's on it.
Yeah, Odessa is closer than Kiev here, so we should be closer to that. It's, if I saw it correct, it was 57 kilometers. Now you have to estimate
Yanik switching over
on
everywhere.
which side you are. Can't decide on which side it is, and it's just north of it on the E95. Lennli on the right road, however Yanik closer.
Yeah, funnily enough, Yanik's road does not lead to Kiev, I'm pretty sure. But does it really matter? It doesn't.
No.
So Yanik's still flawlessing after 5 rounds. Into round 6. Again, in Europe.
Again,
they're not leaving it.
Zone this
it
time
says Trondheim parking. That
Norway.
Could be
we are in Trondheim. We have a Trondheim guess from Lennli. I don't think Yanik saw that guess, the sign.
And
so
this just looks like standard Oslo guessing. So might just see an Oslo guess here. He has a bus.
Yeah,
maybe can find. Oh, the bus is gone.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes more
heading
north.
towards
good switch.
the north. That was a good switch. That saved up a good chunk of points there. But Lennli spotting again the sign at spawn. We need to look at the spawn.
Yeah, usually those small signs don't contain any information, but that one got lucky. It said Trondheim, one of the biggest towns in Norway.
Yeah, we have long grass here. Long grass. Good clue for Eswatini. I'm not sure about which road it is.
Well, let's see. Not gonna be the end of the world if you don't get the right road here.
Especially
somewhere in the
both
middle.
Ending up in the same region.
We're very far south guess now by Lennli.
And switch, but Yanik is on it.
We have the exploding emote by Lennli.
Yeah, very good guess, especially on a very short span of road there. So usually roads tend to be more recognizable if those are longer. Like long roads are usually more recognizable because you see them more often. But yeah, he happened to know that one.
Question is, we are in Turkey. Could we be in the European part? I'm not sure.
I am not sure either. I didn't think so. It looks more like Central West. To me, it could be like North Konya. It could be Eskişehir.
There was a sign. Ooh, there was a sign, no? That like a number maybe on Yanik's screen, but he skipped it. Not quite sure if that was a sign or not.
No, it looks more like Afyonkarahisar to me.
Found a bin, which is always good.
Emirdağ, yeah, Emirdağ is east of Eskişehir.
Hey,
it's a small town. I don't expect anyone to know where Emirdağ is.
I also don't know where it is.
It's east of Eskişehir. It's a fairly big town east in Eskişehir. Yanik's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, was around Emirdağ, pretty far from Emirdağ. To still have the trash bins there.
Lennli down 1.2k. Only 2 rounds to go, but we are in a big country again with Russia here.
However,
short antenna.
Is it the blurred antenna?
I didn't see enough.
They both
they're too
really
fast for
look
me.
at it, or they just notice it quicker than us because
both of them try to move to the sign because this looks like a very good sign to read.
That might be more important. We have Ishevka there. So could be Ishevsk or
Ulyanovsk on the sign.
Yep, both in that region.
We have a Ukraine. Okay, good.
So
but Lennli also found it, but Yanik I think is on the 5k.
Yep.
Lennli might be able to survive this.
I think he I think he should. I don't think that's
he's moving more
far.
towards
Okay, he
Ivanov.
moved a bit.
That's closer. I think Yanik was on it, no? That's where he was, slightly northwest of the city.
He started there originally and then moved his way up. Maybe he didn't find something that lines up and thought everything else doesn't make sense on the road, so I have to commit further north.
Lennli already GGing before the last round, but this definitely looks like it's winnable.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why you would GG on this one. It's very equal.
He did it after the last round, so didn't even see the round yet. That's why I was a bit confused. No movement so far from both players. Both 15 seconds down and haven't really moved a lot of steps.
Not at all. But there is a sign. Ash Hollow doesn't really ring a bell. A black car, which is interesting. Should be fairly new coverage then.
It's a weird mix of trees and slight hills. Also this like sandiness. Not really sure where I'm guessing here. And now we're in Gen 1. Yeah, thanks Google Maps for putting us in Gen 1.
When
we appreciate it.
Talking about Gen 1 for the audience, Gen 1 is the very poor camera quality, which was the first one that got enrolled.
2 Wyoming guesses, a bit more southwest and east. And now we switch both to the same place.
Same region again. Who's closer? Lennli's slightly closer, but
oh my, it's super close.
I don't think so.
I think we're in like 40 points range. I think he was like at 2.796. So 50 points decided the game again, similar to the game of the 89 against Lennli actually. So he lost 2 moving games so close today.
Definitely. But you have to say Yanik played that out overall very well. At most of the rounds, I would say. I wouldn't call it a issue of that. It's just Yanik was more consistent in that game, I would say.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad for Lennli. He got so close in 2 games in the moving games. Just barely missing out on a few points. But there were enough rounds to have made up those points and less mistakes. So you had 10 rounds time. Last round. It's only really a bonus if you think about it.
Definitely. And we are back in India. I've seen this
the country of the day, definitely.
Couple times. So yeah, for the upcoming weeks, I would suggest to the players to grind a bit more India because a lot of points got gained and got lost on this country today. Let's see, they are in a similar region, but Yanik closer. It was just in Jaipur, in Rajasthan there. Just round 1, not too many points, but getting the lead for Yanik there.
Yeah, just a few points, 500. Now we're somewhere in Latin America.
Yeah.
Can't really tell where because they haven't looked at anything.
No, my first thought was Peru, yeah.
Juliaca, it says.
Oh.
Lennli signed in a no move and can.
I must say, I've seen Juliaca in a lot of cities.
It would fit though with the general landscape and how the town looks, so I can definitely see it. Yanik has not seen the sign. Nope. That's gonna be a beautiful guess by Lennli in the right town.
That's a good spot. Yeah, I've seen Juliaca on a lot of signs, also inland, because probably for touristic reasons. Maybe
it's kind of like the Nova Scotia Bank in Canada, which is not only Nova Scotia.
Nope.
Yeah, we have the antenna on the car in the front, which is gonna be.
This time it should be clear. It's Puerto Rico, just outside San Juan there.
Yeah, you have these much US-looking landscape. Players moving up.
Yeah. Moving on.
Very interesting round here. I'm not sure what we're looking at. Are we looking at close to the north?
That's interesting.
Portugal as well, but where are we in Portugal if that's coast?
It could be something sticking out. I thought Spain first to be here, but
I'm kind of doubting it's Portugal now just because of the landscape. I mean, he's scanning Croatia now. Definitely an option, but I like the Spain guess right now.
Yeah, especially with those buildings. I'm more in Portugal, Spain with my vibes.
Both scanning now in the islands, Minorca.
Yeah, that makes sense with these buildings. Also looks like we have a hotel there. A big one.
Will they end up in the same spot after scanning the entire Mediterranean coast. Let's see.
Seems like they're both ending up there. Makes sense to me. However, it was indeed Portugal.
Okay, I got gaslit so hard.
Yeah, it was a kind of a baity coastline alignment, I would say, because you usually have water to the west and not north of you in Portugal. But yeah, if you have some land sticking out, that can happen.
I was definitely also doubting it. As I said, I was like, okay, this is Portugal. Then I saw the coast and was like, maybe not. Maybe would have definitely not considered Portugal too much after that.
Yeah. We have a very interesting landscape for Australia standards here.
Yeah, Yanik is instantly zooming into like Flinders Ranges.
Valley.
Never seen this car there, but
yeah.
Driving left, Australian bollard. Every single direction. Guess to where this is. Could see this even. Is Wa a bad guess here?
Western Australia,
like
I'm not
Sterling
sure
Range
about that.
National Park. Yeah, there are some hills there. And we have Yanik lining up the roads there.
This is not easy at all because inland New South Wales also have very red soil like this, so I could see the Mildura.
Yeah, I'm in between
Yes, I'm
Lennli's
not
guess
sure
or Wa,
with-
so
I'm not sure with the mountains though for Lennli's guess.
staying Yanik
Yeah.
on it.
That is a good chunk of points. Australia is a big country offering good opportunities to pick up points, and Yanik is making use of that here. Getting a good lead, and we are in round 6 already. We have those fiber stickers which you see in Mexico all over the country.
Oh, not only Chiapas.
Not only Chiapas.
Yeah, a bit of there's always rumors about metas that are fake.
Yeah.
True. Bit of banter there, but I have no idea where this is.
No, we have a little bit of text, but I don't think that's useful information we had on that.
I'm just guessing Veracruz on this, just because it looks, I don't know, it looks wet, but I can't tell what the terrain looks like.
We have a little bit of Puebla pavement on this
Puebla pavement.
porch on the front of the house, but I wouldn't trust that.
Regardless, we might see the game. We have two completely different guesses. Campeche and Michoacan. I mean, it could be in the middle,
wow,
but
that's very committed from Yanik.
Lennli calling GG, now switching more to the East Coast.
That is committed. And
It's just the
on
southern coast.
South coast.
Be gaining 3.2k points with that, though. And actually, if he goes CDMX, he wins the game.
Yeah.
That's why you guys, sometimes CDMX, it's not always a bad guess, you know? Doesn't mean that it will be there, but it could be very close to it.
Yeah, it's always hard to say. Sometimes you have to commit, sometimes you shouldn't. On this case, I don't know. Yanik was very committed. But we are in Russia, it seems like. We have winter coverage. Very interesting bollards here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Those are
never
like hungry
seen
bollards.
bollards in urban Russia. Like, at least not in front of their houses or entrances. But it should be Russia regardless. We have all white plates without the blue stripe. This architecture looks Russian. We have winter coverage, which you see from Moscow all the way to the Caucasians. And yeah.
Yeah, we have a very far south. I mean, I don't see a birch tree, which is usually an indicator for being max south, but it's just going Tambov, which is kind of the middle of all the winter coverage there
Makes
is.
sense with how hilly it is as well. if
Lennli
it's
also
up
switching
there.
from south to north. They're both in a very similar area by now. Like, putting up a pretty good guess. Is that enough to win the game? Is not.
Not. 230 points left
130.
for Lennli.
Lennli definitely doesn't want to lose this because that would have meant he lost both his games today with 0-2. After having some tragic losses in the moving games would be pretty undeserving, I would say at least.
He's
Go
happy
down
to
like this.
see this round though, right, Ziggy?
I don't know how good he is in Brazil, but it's a big country, so...
It gives you room to turn it around, at least. And I think Lennli did practice Brazil. He also made a document about the cluster coverages in Brazil.
In Bahia especially, but this time we have like these grainy red soil, which is usually Piauí, Ceará. So I like his guess.
We don't have any supports on the post, right? Or did I say that wrong?
We don't.
Okay, we should...
It's the new Roraima coverage.
Oh, wow.
Lennli lucky to stay alive.
Wow.
1k 8 points left for... Wow.
Yeah, after this round, you can't be upset about losing or winning the game, because on that one,
yeah, especially...
it should have been anyone's.
Amarain got a lot of new coverage. It doesn't really look the same when you don't have the mountains. You just have a quick instant lock in the UK for Yanik. He doesn't want to spend any time. This could be anyone getting closer.
Pretty much saying, let's hope it's here, and if it's not, then it's GG.
Yeah, because he has more, more room to improvement, but Lennli is closer, and that might be enough to seal the deal.
That is game. He was pretty far north there in Sheffield, but that is game for Lennli.
I am pretty happy Lennli gets to get this NMPZ round.
Yeah, he did need that. He did need that.
Definitely felt a bit bad for him after that moving games. Pretty tough game against the 89, and now against Yanik. Barely losing. Now?
I agree. It's good to see him having another chance here on the NMPZ match. To maybe go out with a win.
Yeah, it's definitely somewhere in the northern Paris, but I don't know where exactly.
Yeah, like British Columbia. It is not mountainous enough to be Yukon, but the coverage looks like Yukon. That's usually where you wanna...
But we have a Yukon guess.
But we have a Yukon guess. I mean, you have some parts that are not that hilly, but not too many. However, Manitoba wasn't on my list.
Sometimes you just have to click Northern Sask just to hedge.
Yep.
But that is a very hard round to get. 1k points. He can definitely be happy to not lose more than that after a very risky Yukon guess. But in NMPZ, as I said, it doesn't really matter how much you're down. You can win any moment.
Nope. And we have a Thailand round here with those Thai lamps, Thai poles, driving on the left. Country is obvious, however, where we are isn't obvious at all.
I like the close to Bangkok guess. And it looks that coastal region. Yeah, very good.
Ooh,
very nice guess by Yanik.
That is a very nice guess. Going southeast there, and it is indeed southeast in Thailand. That's usually an area I never guess.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the hardest. If you go there, it's usually never there, and that's where you're like, okay, I will never guess there again.
Yeah, and again, it is about committing where you think it is, and this time it was in favor for Yanik. A good chunk of points, and we move over to the United States, I would say. Is this actually?
It's in Vancouver though, but I like the region guess. It kind of looks like the Vancouver area.
Do you have any Transformers?
I don't see anything.
It's the United States.
I thought about Chile for a second.
I don't think this RR sign on the road. I don't think I've ever seen it in Canada.
Never seen it in Chile, that's for sure. So I considered Chile for a second just by how it looked. But this should just be either Canada or the US.
Yeah,
I tend to agree with you on the US.
I like the West Coast. I like Washington as a guess there for Lennli.
You have Idaho. Most northern
can
Idaho.
Also see that. Yeah, indeed, Washington, Lennli getting very close there. Right region as well inside that cluster of cities there.
It's almost in the right suburb of Seattle or whatever that is, the greater area around it.
Yeah, very good guess. And we are moving over to a very rural round. We don't have a lot to work with. However, we have a pole, which looks like a Brazilian pole to me. We have those fences, rolling green landscapes, makes me
really
think
like the Eastern Coast guess.
Yeah.
Here's the Santo Minas, maybe Bahia, maybe it's Southern Bahia, but I definitely like the region. Where will Lennli guess here? He hasn't opened his map yet, 5 seconds left. We'll definitely get the country, but we have two very different guesses. I like Yanik.
Very far south.
But it is south.
It is indeed. Santa
That will
Catarina.
be enough to win the game.
That is actually
okay,
enough.
my math was on point. GG,
Wow.
Lennli. And we get the glasses, of course. I don't know how many he owns, but definitely had one ready for us.
Yeah, very interesting game here, Ziggy. Very interesting game. It was a back and forth, and it wasn't very clear at all who's gonna win this. But yeah, Lennli took that one home.
I mean, after that moving game, I was like, wow, he lost by like 30 points. I mean, that's how small the margins are at some point. And he, not only in that game, but also in his earlier game. So yeah, just shows like how close it can be in moving. And then, he hang in there, barely got the win in no move, and then pretty decent Brazil guess to seal the deal.
Definitely, definitely. Especially with the early GGs he sent, he wasn't really confident. I feel like some confidence was missing here for Lennli in those games. I feel like he should have been more confident than that. And yeah, he still got the win. That's the important part. And what do we have now, Ziggy?
We have Shiina taking on Leero. Shiina had a pretty rough start of the day, losing 2-0 against Eamonn, actually. Who had a bit of a rough movie game, I heard at least. And he also made a tweet about it, that he can't win at GeoGuessr, but shouldn't be too harsh on itself. I think Shiina has always proven to be one of the best players, especially in big countries. And look at that precision, by the way. 62%.
Yeah.
That's the highest we've seen today. So he definitely shouldn't be too harsh on itself. 31% win rate, on the other hand, seems a bit low. So we'll definitely get up.
Yeah, and we have a 14% win rate here for Leero. Looks very low, however, it's only 7 games. Really pointless to look at that. More important is the precision. And the precision here, 59%, is also very up on top for Leero. So he proves that he can get very close. Probably didn't get the right guesses at the right time in his previous games, but the average guess time also somewhere in the average, 34 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just very stumped by this win rates, because these players are both very, very high on the competitive leaderboard. I think Leero exceeds 2100. I think Shiina's above 2k. So yeah, it's very surprising to see them so low on this, but I think they will bounce back.
Yeah, definitely. It also indicates that they probably got a bit unlucky on their previous games, considering the fact that they are very close most of the time, but didn't get the wins in. So probably got unlucky on big countries there a couple times.
It even makes it more important that you win this game, and one of them will make a big step towards not being at the bottom again, or still. So I think this game matters a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And we're starting off here in the moving game in what looks like Indonesia. Not a lot of clues I see yet on either side. It is Malaysia, though.
No, we have a Indo-Pole, and we even has a
Tapanuli.
Tapanuli, yeah.
Don't know that one.
Is where he is, I think. And he even found the town name. Wow. Wow, that was very quick by Shiina.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. How is Shiina so far down? If he plays like this in every match, there's no way in hell he's losing that many games.
No, not at all.
I'm a bit surprised by Leero insta-guessing the wrong country. He's usually very confident on insta-guessing.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
what
nice to see it.
So, I was mentioning that earlier, where in moving games, sometimes you just assume you know the country and then move around and look for infos and then make a region guess based on the information. However, you skip the part of getting the country right. And we are in Denmark here. Those signs, Shiina somewhat in the middle, covering all of the country. However, Leero is right with his region guess there.
Yeah, region guessing Denmark, not the easiest thing, really.
Not at all.
Doesn't have a lot of high yield clues, really. If it's hilly, you usually go at the north area, but that wasn't even hilly, so shout out that he still got it. Speaking of countries that have a bit more clues available, Russia.
Yeah, it is Russia. We have some signs that are not helpful at all, though. Probably just a small town, somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
We might have black car, which would indicate like Pskov or something west of Moscow. So I kind of like Leero's hover right now.
Yeah, they are both over there. Shiina already lining up the road. I don't know if this would be a yellow road, though, because it is just very rural, but I could be wrong. Nope, it was just some white road around Tver. Leero somewhat closer and striking back.
Yeah, basically evening it out.
Yeah.
So far, no real moving. I mean, we saw some moving in the first Indo round where Shiina found the right sign. Don't think anybody's gonna even bother moving in a Uganda round.
Both didn't move a single bit here.
Yeah.
Oh, Shiina's moving now. I mean, he has those extra seconds. Might as well make use of that, but yeah.
Uganda, sadly, this car only in the capital, really. And there are some other cars, but those are usually considered trackers, so they don't come out as much. We see this capital a lot, and they always recognize it.
Yep, I would agree.
So many signs with so many names, but they don't seem very helpful, if I'm being quite honest.
No, we should be in Estonia here, I think.
Yeah, we have dashed lines. We have the like Estonian Finnish language. I'm not even sure how related those languages are. They're pretty close to each other, but they're different, I think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain on that. They have some similarities in their language. Of course, you recognize it's Estonia by the looks here, though. They are both just making a region guess.
You know, just looking, maybe you can find their town name. There's a town name, but... And it is tiny island.
Yeah, on an island.
It's like the smallest island in Indonesia. Estonia that has coverage. My bad.
It would be quite
Messing
interesting if that would belong to Indonesia.
Well, one day, maybe.
Who knows? And we are moving on in a very rural round. Looks like Southeast Asia again.
Looks like Philippines with that poster.
I would say, yeah, with that political poster, Philippines makes the most sense. And especially the Davao region, I feel like makes sense here with the amount of palms.
And this fence,
and
I think, is also...
Yeah.
There's Cagayo, but not Cagayan. So, not too helpful. I'm not sure how there's a like election in Philippines every single time the Google car drives past, because I feel like there's an ad everywhere. And we have Palawan. Ooh, that could be big for Leero.
Is that Palawan? Actually, yeah.
But it looks like we got to the same sign, so that's going to be huge points evaded from...
as well. He clicks on the label, which you shouldn't do usually in the Philippines, because they are off from where it actually is. So you should click on the road next to it for some extra points.
It is hard to see whether it was south of that or north, though, because it's so misplaced. See, it's even closer to the north.
A good chunk of points, I would say, by clicking on the label, because the labels are always misplaced. Not always, but most of the times. They are a bit misplaced from
that was an important find by Shiina in the last second. If he goes a bit different in the moving game, he just doesn't find that sign. And to me, it didn't look like Palawan at all. I'm not getting that without that sign.
Yeah, was definitely looking a bit weird, but I didn't get a Palawan guess. However, here we are in Guatemala again. And what do we have? What do we have, Ziggy? We have some volcanoes, we have some mountains.
A similar area where the other locations were today.
Yeah.
Shiina basically on it, and Leero very similar, I guess, as well.
But this time it was on the other side.
The big town. Okay.
Yeah. Wanna... on the safe side though, but it's hard to commit to that side in Guatemala sometimes.
Now it goes on. We have information overload. We have Taiping. We have... It says Ipoh.
Some Arabic script. Ipoh as well.
So it says Perak. It says Batu Gajah. I think he has it.
Yeah.
But I think the other one is correct, so it should be Perak. Leero not too far away, actually, without seeing the sign.
Yeah. Maybe.
Actually getting closer because...
Very good vibe guesser, yeah. I don't know if he had any info. I don't think I've seen him spotting any.
As we saw in Lennli's moving games, losing those few points can matter. Shiina definitely insistent there, lost a few points, 400, and he gave up the lead. We are in Austria with those bollards and this German language, obviously.
Town sign. Do not know where Ersdorf is. We also had some more info underneath, but I don't think that's too helpful. So yeah, I could see that region around Vienna again. Or like Linz area, one of those two. Yeah, was pretty far west actually. Close to Salzburg.
Pretty close to Germany, and now Shiina 250 points. It's definitely possible. And 5.5 actually definitely just need to get 50 points closer. But he has to get closer now. Otherwise, it goes down 0-1.
That is how it is. For now, it looks like Spain to me. I'm always...
We found something.
Shouting
code, maybe.
It's a bit too early, I think, but yeah, this should be Spain.
There's Uni Rioja. This is actually the town of Rioja. It is a town name. Kind of looks right from the landscape, so I don't hate it because we have those mountains, and mountains are pretty common in the north, especially if they look like that. So where will Leero guess? We'll go south.
Oh, we have a split on sides of the country.
But it is Shiina finding a very good sign.
Shiina on it. That's a game-winning guess.
All his health. All his health in the last round.
Oh, wow.
Bang on it.
Yeah, he was on point there, just how he was in the Indonesia round as well. Shiina playing that very well, making very good use of every information he got in this moving game.
Yeah, you can definitely see he has more experience in moving games, finding those crucial signs, and that's kind of what moving is really all about. You have to get to the signs first before you can use them, usually. Or in the best case scenario, they're not at spawn, because that kind of makes it boring. But wow, what do we have here? It looks like a very interesting round.
Yeah, we are in Turkey, however...
Turkey pickup coverage is in a lot of places.
Yeah.
It's not always east. This looks northern to me, but I don't know where.
Yeah, by default you go central north, but I'm not too sure on this one. Could see like Kastamonu, anything like that in the central north. Yeah, not sure. Anything along that span east of Kastamonu also makes sense. Yeah, was more east. Was in Ordu province actually. Yeah, central north is a pretty safe guess. Usually towards the east you get more clues like hazelnut or tea.
True.
Especially if you have this good view all around you, but yeah, you never know.
And we have no clues. We have palm trees in India, and sadly the whole country is surrounded by water pretty much. So you have a lot of these. Poles don't look too helpful either.
Again, we have a lot of poles, but I don't think they are too helpful. Actually, a lot of clues to work with here. We have a spam of palms. We have a couple buildings. We have poles. Those are usually the things you want in a country to make a region guess based on that. However, in India, it can still be very difficult since a lot of places look similar in the country.
Looks like East Coast somewhere. We even have one like palm you get in Assam, but I don't think it's Assam. Now Shiina's considering Assam. I don't think you want to go Assam on the shrubbery though.
No. He should
definitely
stay.
East Coast
I
somewhere.
think that's a safe guess in Andhra Pradesh, and
just middle.
Yeah, a bit more inland, but at least on the latitude he got correct there together with Leero, sharing the same somewhat region. And we are in Europe.
Looks like we have a flag there. It looks like a Swedish flag, maybe.
Maybe I saw some yellow on it.
Yeah, that's also what I saw. I mean, the rest of the landscape is pretty interesting for Sweden, I have to say.
Yeah.
But I think it would fit with the camper van.
Yeah.
You know, they like
These
camping.
houses also are like wooden houses, painted wooden houses. Makes sense.
I just don't see another country making a lot of sense here, so kind of have to go with Sweden, especially with this flag, because it definitely isn't Ukraine. So, but Leero, no guess down yet, but he will also get there in the end.
Definitely.
In the East Coast, though.
Ooh.
Takes a sip, leans back.
Committing the
Nice one.
coast there.
That's how he rolls. Is that readable? Somewhere on a coast. It's almost
We have
like,
holy poles again.
yeah, it looks like Gujarat coast. I was about to say that. Didn't see the holy pole yet, but if you say so, I believe.
I would say it looks like a holy pole.
Looks like that.
For context for the chat, holy poles, we call the poles which have holes in them, which is a region-specific pole in India. You see it in Gujarat, in the state of Gujarat, and I would say it also looks like Gujarat, therefore you should consider it. Now they are trying to make a reasonable guess within Gujarat.
You have a Sri Lanka plonk?
Ooh.
Definitely think he will change to Gujarat.
Okay.
Okay. He had me worried there for a second, but now he's zoomed into the holy pole twice, so he's definitely sure.
Yeah, he knows it's Gujarat. He's switching.
And see, the town name did start with a D on the sign, so he definitely found that.
Definitely. It had a coastal vibe as well.
Bit of a port city there. This looks like the new coverage in Kenya with this car. Not to be confused with Panama, has to be said.
Ideally, you shouldn't guess Panama here. However, making a good region guess is also pretty difficult. Most of the times in Kenya.
Very dry landscape. Usually something you see more east of Nairobi, but not too far out. It's north.
It's north, yeah. Kenya is super hard. I gotta respect Shiina for making a very committed guess there towards
especially because there's not a lot of coverage down there, so you kind of like playing with fire. He still has the multis to do anything really. And we are in Mexico? Not sure.
Looks like it to me. We have
that water to the
diagonal poles. We have an exposed front on the car, which you can also use as a region guess, to make a region guess. Not happening in too many states. They are both looking at everything, containing every info they can, looking at the terrain, making use of the mountain range.
Yeah, Big Mountain East, I don't really know where that happens. I mean, this just looks like it's somewhere west of CDMX, where Leero is kind of in that region right now, just because it looks very generic. No cacti.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you get it. Maybe it's Puebla, something closer to CDMX, but
I could see that. I like that area around that.
They will end up in the very same spot, I think.
Yeah.
Just because the most logical guess here. And CDMX would have been closest again.
Yeah.
That might be enough to force Shiina into an NMPZ game, and Leero is quite good at NMPZ. So Shiina will not be happy to have not closed the game out.
No, definitely not. He will have a harder time against Leero on the NMPC format, where you only get a still image. Not really the format he's playing the most. However, Leero is known to play NMPZ.
But let's see. Anything can happen.
No.
Especially with this map. Especially with rounds like this.
Ooh.
Are we in France?
France or Italy? With a little chance of Spain, but I think it's more like Italy or France.
I would pick the border between those two, maybe.
Yeah, the border between Italy and France is something I like. And that's also where Shiina guessed.
Yeah,
and it is on the
exactly.
border between Italy and France.
It doesn't matter which side it is, because it just looks like the border.
You just gotta know what it looks like. And moving over to this very interesting pavement here.
Yeah, from an easier round to a bit of a harder round in Europe, I imagine,
could
with
it
this
be
general
Germany?
landscape. I thought about it, but I would maybe send like Hungary on this.
Yeah,
If a Germany guess,
makes sense.
I Leero right now. And Shiina is considering Russia.
Ooh.
Don't see Russia. See anything in Europe though.
Yes, should be Europe.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, Russia also has parts in Europe, but I don't think it's anywhere in Russia. Hedging it out in Poland, it was indeed Germany, all the way northeast.
If you still count that as Germany, that is barely, that's part of the North Sea.
Yeah. Pretty far out there. Moving over to this round, we have a yellow license plate, white middle line.
Wait, so you're telling me they get Ghana without the tape?
Hey, you can maybe see it in the reflection of the car.
True.
I would assume that's what they did, because how else would they know it's Ghana?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Can't be real.
No.
And pretty even matchup so far. 1k health.
Definitely. I don't see anyone really committing anything. They just go the safe route and click somewhere in between all the areas that make sense to them. And we are moving over to this round again in Europe.
Both in the Brittany area. Does make a lot of sense with French architecture, but it almost looks like the UK, so...
Yeah. I think you meant it the other way around, with British architecture, but it looks like France?
No.
Because that... Okay.
I mean, the architecture is still French, no? Because...
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But I think,
I mean,
I think you make it based on the black roofs usually in that area, and that's more of a UK thing, but...
I can barely speak, but I can't keep up with the pace here with Leero just intercepting. I don't even know where he sent because
we have southern reflectors, so I like the Georgia guess. And they both end up in Georgia.
Yep. The reflectors also found in Florida. They are just yellow, nothing else, just a bump. And they're usually on both sides of the road. Makes them probably one of the most helpful reflectors in the US.
Definitely.
I can't wait for John Harvey Kellogg to correct me on that one. So, forward. We're in Brazil.
We are in
red soil.
Indeed, hopefully. I mean, everything speaks for Brazil here. It's very flat, red soilish, which makes me think like Goiás or something.
It is Goiás, and Shiina is in Goiás, which means he will get 2.5k points.
Also, very good region is within Goiás there. Getting good points indeed.
Ooh, is this what I think it is?
Moving over to this round, Ziggy.
Are we looking at the Monterey Mountains? Are we?
I mean, they are on our west. That is right.
They are pretty big, and we see Shiina going
pretty
there.
American, which makes me think north in Mexico. So Monterey is a good shout. We have Shiina and Monterey, and they both get it.
Leero almost getting the right road somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, Monterey is not a small city, so interesting.
Not at all. He probably used the mountain range there.
Oh, actually, yeah, the mountain range stopped. So
it was straight east to us, so you just guess straight. No, it was straight west of us, and he gets straight east of it. This way around.
Keep spawning in these urban environments, which make it very hard.
Should be Asia though, because we have. We actually have Chinese language. We have Chinese language on the left, right? Is it Malay then?
I don't know if we're in Malay or not, because you have these like roofs on the left that kind of like bend down at the end.
Yeah.
That's usually a thing that's Malay, or it is North Sumatra, which is where Leero is. I kind of like the Medan guess. It could be Medan.
Could be.
Because of the pole. Just because of the pole, but I have a Batam guess.
Do you also get Chinese script in Sumatra?
I have no clue.
I'm not sure.
But we'll see. Both of them in Indonesia. So I'll trust them. It is...
Wow.
What? Wow.
Oh
Got
my
Tibing
God.
Tingi, or whatever the town there is, correct?
and
he's not even reacting. Bro is like, yeah, whatever,
lean.
bro.
Just another day for Leero. And that is a crazy guess to end off this game. Shiina versus Leero. Leero picking it up in the NMPZ game, as we expected. Ziggy.
Wow, I mean, how relaxed was he at the end?
He was just giving it a lean back. Yeah, just another day for Leero. Just another game for Leero.
Getting a correct city in Indonesia by just a few buildings. I mean, as I said.
I mean, after we discussed which country it is for a couple of seconds, he just guessed the right town. Yeah.
And if you're that good, you know, might as well do it. And yeah, another win for Leero. Now let's look at the schedule. I heard that we had to not play out a game between Swan Gambit and V89. That will be played another week, I think. But that's we actually have an interesting result in Malfunction versus Amarain. Should I just take it?
Yeah, we have Amarain picking up 2-0. That's really something I was hoping for Amarain, for his mental, because he was on a losing streak and he did really need that one. Kind of feel bad for Malfunction now though, because she also played very well on that Kratzu game, but got a bit unlucky by going out with 0 wins here. Before that, Spaghetti and Harrier also played, and another NMPZ game there.
Harrier keeps winning. Had a very rough start. I think Harrier went 0-4 in games. I think he was 0-8 in matches. So it's definitely nice to see him get some results, especially considering how much he's grinding the game and how much he's just grinding random information. As you can see, it pays off. 11th place, 12 go to the World Cup. So yeah, definitely nice to see him up there.
He is on pace, and as you already said, he is grinding for it, and definitely deserved to get some wins out of that.
Yeah, no big changes at the top. Even though Blinky hasn't played today, he still remains there. You know, why not? He's him. We'll see him, I think, later on today.
Yeah. Ziggy, very interesting game today. What stands out to me the most is how many NMPZ games we had today.
Yeah, but I don't want to cut you off too quickly, but I have a very important thing to mention, that we have an interview guest coming in right now, and it's none other than the winner of the Germany vs. Germany game, which is Lennli. Hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Well,
can you hear me
perfect.
as well?
Yeah, of course.
Very nice.
Lennli, you had a very rough start, losing that moving game against V89 and losing that game against Yanik by, I don't know how many points it was, like 200 points in the first one and then like 30 points in the other one. How was the day for you? How was it?
I mean, to be honest, I felt pretty good on my moving game against Castrola, or like V89. I don't know which name he prefers nowadays, but I guess we'll call him V89. So, yeah, I felt really good in that moving game, to be honest. I played a really nice game, and to lose that by like 100 points on round 10 on an arbitrary cut-off in round limit is just very gutting, to be honest. Definitely also took the wind out of my sails a little bit there, and then the same thing happening again against Yanik. Although, to be fair, Yanik did deserve to win that moving game. He played better than me. Is kind of terrible, and I think we really have to think about a different solution than round limit going into the majors later in the season, because it does really cut these games short unnecessarily. But either way, I mean, Castrola played an insane no-moving game against me, so GG's to him. I mean, he's one of the best players, and I think he showed it in that one. There was nothing I can do there. And then I'm glad to take the win against Yanik in an intense series.
Yeah, very well played. Lotus, any questions you want to ask him?
Yeah, Lennli, congratulations. Good thing you got the switch up there. You did win that game. Something I mentioned to Ziggy earlier was your mental state. It felt like you are not really locked in, or not locked in, but you sent out early GGs. Was it because there was a lack of confidence?
Especially in moving, I sent an early GG when basically my movement was very slow, because I'm like on a pretty not the best PC, so I was like, okay, probably he found some information. And on that Mexico round, there was a town name written on the wall, and I scanned for it the whole time. I didn't find it in the no move game against Yanik. So when he sent before the timer ran out, I just imagined he found the town name. That's why I sent the GG. But luckily he did not. So yeah.
Okay, that's very good to know, because those early GGs we always have to assume what happened, what's going on in his mind, what did he see, because the spectator view is always a bit different from what you guys see on the screen. Therefore I wanted to clarify that one out. But yeah, congrats on the win there. Very well played.
Thank you.
And I also wanted to ask you... Oh, whatever. Go ahead. Yeah, you're the interviewer.
Your question, please.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you about how you feel about your performance in general. Not only today, but over the first few weeks. And the most important question is, how many pairs of glasses do you have?
Oh, you will see. You will see until I run out.
Yeah, what's the thing? We'll see.
That's easy. So, I mean, I hope I will win a lot, so I hope you will see a lot of glasses. That's basically it. So, in the first game against Castrola, I obviously lost on purpose because we didn't have the face cams visible on stream. So I couldn't have put sunglasses on. That's why I decided to throw that game. Yes. No, just kidding, of course. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my performance so far in the World League, but I think that I am currently very much on the grind, and I think there's a lot more room for improvement. I do definitely want to be in the top 12 when the season finishes, so that is definitely my goal, and I will definitely put in the work for that.
Yeah, I think everyone is kind of grinding right now. I mean, the amount of practice I see from other players as well, not to, diminish your grinding, but there's a lot of people that grind so much, and it's pretty epic to see, honestly.
Absolutely.
So just anything you have to ask him before we throw him out of here.
No more questions, Lennli. I wish you the best. Good luck on the grind. and on your path to the World Cup.
Thank you very much.
Lennli.
Great
Thanks for the
casting,
interview.
guys. See ya.
Yeah, that was Lennli. Nice interview. I'm very happy we interviewed him when he actually won a game. I was kind of afraid we got him after him going 0-4 and the mood would have been worse. So very happy for him and very happy that we got him at that state.
Definitely. I mean, we are still early. It's week 3. No reason to have the mental down. There's still enough room to switch sides, to switch your positioning. So I think everyone should stay focused, should stay motivated, and yeah, bring us good gameplay.
Yeah, speaking of gameplay, the day is not over. It's over for us too, but it's not over for our casters. Later on, we are starting off with MK vs Finbar later on in 4 hours. So you definitely don't want to miss that one. Finbar undefeated, 6-0 in matches even. So he hasn't lost a single game yet, just period. So definitely watch out for him. We'll have Loom and Jake Lyons casting that later. So yeah. Be there or be square.
That's how it is. I will be there.
I will be there, but not as a caster. I will be
Nope.
just in the Switch chat as
Leaning
well.
back, watching.
Yeah, I think that's it for today. I mean, we had some amazing games. I think this was the best week so far, I have to say. Just with also the added production value with the stats and stuff was just very interesting to see. And we got an interview. And who better to take than Lennli after such an amazing win by him. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed our cast. Gelotris, anything you want to say before I end the stream?
Nothing to add. I think everything spoke for itself. We had a really great day with a lot of very interesting games. And as you already mentioned, easily the best day we had so far. And I'm looking forward for more. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, GeoGuessr speaks for itself. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games later on. And yeah, see you guys. Peace out.